All right, what's up, guys? Another day in the NBA, and what a joyous one it is. A regular season finale for all of our favorite basketball players. A little bit of chaos to go out for our last NBA regular season stream and my last stream at Awesemo, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm Chris Spags, joined by my old pal, the guy I've spent more time over the last few years digging into the random assholes across the NBA. Probably shouldn't have cursed within the intro, but a man who I'm glad to have on me on this final voyage for myself. And man, you know and love, he's the Chubster. He's Josh Engleman. How you doing, Josh?
I'm pretty good. I'm sad. This is the end of an era show. It's kind of a bummer. But if I'm going to break down a fully random NBA slate filled with guys that I don't know, I would not want to do it with anyone other than you.
That's the nicest thing you could say to me as a man who watched. I told Josh, we were talking on Slack this morning, watched all that Jazz Spurs game where, Josh, Nigel Williams-Goss, does he ring a bell for you? Does he
I think he went to Gonzaga. I think he was the Gonzaga point guard a couple years ago.
Jarrell Brantley, how about him?
I know that he's in the NBA now.
Chinze Metu, another guy was in there. I always mess up his name, so I'm trying to.
He's a guy that I always give like 8 minutes if one of the centers are out that ends up never playing anyway. But yeah, I'm familiar. Ben was like, who's Rajon Tucker? I was just like, he's on the Jazz.
I did not know who he was, but he was actually pretty active out there. So these are the things that I enjoy, as Josh knows very well. Tim Quarterman knows very well, somewhere deep in the annals of Chinese NBA history, Chinese basketball history. I'm sure thriving, but... that's something we could talk about in the live Afterlock show. But guys, help us out. Hit that like button. And of course, if you want to do one final act for me besides hitting the old Venmo at Chris Spags, you could go to SuperDraft, of course, because that's what I want you to do. It's the future of DFS. And as is always the thing here, we want to put you guys before us. And that is the case for me today, as well as all of our other hosts on this channel. And SuperDraft does that better than anybody in the DFS space. Go to superdraft.io or play at SuperDraft on the App Store. To search SuperDraft, you'll find that app on there, whatever app store you're using. Make sure to use the promo code Awesemo10 over there. It'll get you $10 free when you deposit $10 or more, and $20 when you deposit more than $100. There's a lot of money that goes right to your bankroll. Big additions to you if you are a new player trying to get some money up, trying to make your way into being the next Awesemo. That could start for you at SuperDraft. The future of DFS, where the multiplier format allows you to pick any players you want. They've been a sponsor of this show for very long, and I think near and dear to my heart for a variety of reasons. Love the branding, love the logo. So those are the reasons that I play on SuperDraft, but you should too. Get that money. Use the promo code Awesemo10, $10 free with your deposit of $10 or more, and $20 free more than $100. And one other plug too, of course, for Awesemo.com. The Awesemo.com/join page has all of your Awesemo Plus needs. But the good news for you guys is there is one freebie today. The NBA player projections are free because you probably need them free today more than ever if you don't have that membership. So let me grab that from our marketing plan and give it to you guys in the chat. But go check it out. I actually accidentally just pasted all the stat lines for the day into there, so that's not the move. But check out this link, free player projections today, one of many free features that we have on Awesemo.com. And always make sure to keep your eyes on the old Awesemo_com Twitter handle, because it'll tell you all the free features we have on a given day. All right, let's talk about this slate, Josh, because we have to talk NBA first, and it's going to be a lot of joy for you, I'm sure. We'll do the obvious one first. James Harden, right? James Harden's a guy we all know and love, gets big boosts without Russell Westbrook, gets that 43% usage rate, gets to about a 48% assist rate in court time without Westbrook. Really hard to argue that he's going to get a good swath of minutes today. Maybe not that full 35 minutes he saw last game, but I have him at about 28. I think Awesemo has him 28 to 30 as well. So should be getting the run. Where are you with James Harden? Because he's going to be, I think we had him at 80%.
He was like 80 or 90 before. I don't know if we've had an update since I got off before.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, he's now at 91.9% on DraftKings.
Yeah, he was 92 on FanDuel before. Let me grab this most recent update. We got it 18 minutes ago. So if you haven't refreshed your ownership projections, I'd highly recommend going that direction. FanDuel, 97 on FanDuel. That's a real number that is in this sheet. 97%. I'd like to meet the 3% of the people that aren't playing him there. I think it's probably just an accident. Although it might not even be an accident. I'm nervous about that sort of ownership. The tricky part for all of this. Oh God, I got to fight back a sneeze. It's just
That's bringing your A game. our last show together.
Oh, I couldn't help it. It was just there. I wonder if so I think the idea of having James Harden in your lineup right now is a good idea because it allows you the flexibility to move around easier. You have a lot of not that salary is going to matter, but you'll have enough salary to work with. And having him in your lineup up until the first 2 games or the first 3 games are over, I think is probably a benefit. So I understand why he's owned that much. But if he really holds that ownership, then I like the idea of mildly getting away. I don't think we should be super confident in him playing 30 minutes. I get it. D'Antoni and the Rockets sort of just don't care in situations like this. I would be really surprised if James Harden plays north of 28 minutes. That seems crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Especially with Westbrook out. I just don't see what could possibly be the benefit. Alex has him at 28 minutes now. To me, something in like the 22 to 26 range is where I'd want to be. Like 24 seems to be a realistic scenario. I just don't know why he would be out there. I don't get the idea of having him.
Yeah, I think that
does... Michael Porter Jr. out. That just came out.
Yeah, I saw that too. So, I mean, we could see some more Denver news. That's weird that they put out their injury report and then now they put out Porter Jr. But certainly, guys had his own history of back issues. You want to make sure that he's feeling good going into things as maybe a secret weapon for Denver in the playoffs. But yeah, Harden, I agree. I mean, I think we see him maybe play kind of like Denver, ironically enough, has played the last few games where these guys have been leaving in the third quarter, playing 24, 25 minutes. I would agree that seems the most logical. But, he in preseason too, you might say the same thing. Obviously not quite the same scenario, but we do know D'Antoni in preseason loves playing his guys pretty close to that full run of minutes. So I think I'm okay with trusting Harden at that price point just because I guess the question is, if you didn't play Harden, like where are you spending that money, or are you going to leave $3-4 on the table?
I mean, I think leaving thousands of dollars on the table today is kind of the only way that you do this. You don't necessarily have to, but you'll probably end up there as more and more news comes out. So leaving that sort of money on the table, I think, is totally fine. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so Harden, based on Harden's normal, like in his last game, his last rotation, we're talking about like 18 minutes in the first half. Maybe one more additional rotation coming out of the third, and then that's it. I'm really liking that 24 to 26 range on Harden. I would want to have him for sure because raw points rule the roost. If you didn't watch the strategy show with myself and Ben, we talked about it a bit today. Value is not a thing today. If you're looking at like somebody to be a value play, it's pretty much irrelevant. You are trying to hit as many of the highest scores of the slate as possible because salary is not going to matter. And if that's the case, James Harden has a pretty high likelihood of being that guy. As the minutes get shaved away, that's where you could really pick up some edge given the ownership. Right now, I would expect to be less than the field on James Harden on both sites by the time the slate is over. Heading into lock, the first lock, I don't hate the idea of having him in most, if not all, of my lineups because it just gives me functionality for swapping later on.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, the price point can be one that'll allow you some ways to get to these other guys, but I guess, really you're not going to need that money if you did have Harden there and you're going to, I don't know, some of the Toronto guys. I guess Toronto will have pretty early on in the process. I want to hear your thoughts about some of these other parts of the slate, and maybe we could circle back on Harden because I think it's going to be one we get a lot of questions about as we go. But Toronto, I feel like is a team we need to hit up top because especially if you are putting in your lineups now, that is the first game on the slate. We got that Michael Porter Jr. news. He's out, but Toronto has everybody out. Pascal Siakam sitting, Kyle Lowry sitting, Fred VanVleet sitting, Serge Ibaka out, OG Anunoby out. I think the assumption is Marcus Gasol probably won't play minutes with all these guys out, but he's not formally been ruled out. Juan Hernandez now popping in the Awesemo projections as well as mine, and I didn't know who he was until this morning. Had to put his name in to make sure the stats were right.
I traded him in NBA 2K this morning.
Oh, there you go. How's he doing in the virtual leagues?
I was just trying to steal a second round pick, so I wasn't paying close attention.
Fair enough. So Juan Hernandez in the mix. To me, the priority guys here probably going to be Norman Powell, Chris Boucher, who we all have had our struggles with in the past, but has looked good his last 2 games in the bubble. And the issue for him is more of a minutes one rather than one of his actual opportunity and ability to put up points, fantasy points in particular, in a short burst. Is a 1.2 fantasy point per minute guy. In the Awesemo optimal that I just ran on Fantasy Cruncher, I am getting an absolute ungodly amount of Raptors here. So Josh, let's talk about it. Which Raptors do you find to be the most viable up top? And I'll give you mine in rebuttal.
Yeah. So for right now, I think it's got to be Boucher, and all of the ownership is already there. My second favorite guy, at least on FanDuel, is probably Terence Davis. He's not really picking up any ownership. I think he's good. He's like a 0.9 fantasy point per minute.
That's changed with Terence Davis. He's at 53% now in the
so that's DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's 9.
Gotcha.
I like that idea a little bit, just because I think the minutes could be there. I think that he is like actually talented, not just like talented for the spot. So I'd like to go to Terence Davis. He's at shooting guard, makes for a really nice combination with James Harden. Like if you really think you're going to run into salary issues, you're not. But those two guys go together well. He's my 4th overall shooting guard behind Harden, clearly. Tyler Hero, Paul George, but your mileage may vary there depending on your minutes. And then it's Terence Davis for me. And I think his minutes are pretty safe. So I like Terence Davis on FanDuel. People are already there on DraftKings, so it's not any sort of major news. Matt Thomas probably going a little under-owned on DK, as weird as that sounds, even though he's already at 32%. That would be my 3rd favorite guy coming from the Raptors.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Terence Davis. He's a guy, very limited sample size, but without the point guards and Siakam on the floor, gets up to about a 28% usage rate, gets jumps and assists as well, a pretty big jump and assists, a little bit more rebounding, everything for him. He's one of those guys who does a little bit of everything. And, you know, his role in Toronto normally not that great, but he's still a 0.93 fantasy point per minute guy on the year. So one would assume with a little more runway, I mean, he could be in that. I don't think he's Chris Boucher in terms of just pure fantasy upside, but if he's getting 35 minutes and he gets to 1 fantasy point per minute, you're probably feeling really good about him at his price point. And I think on DraftKings too, as chalk, I don't care. I'm going to have a lot of Terence Davis.
Yeah, he should play so many more minutes in the NBA right now, but he just happens to be on the Raptors and can't. He's going to be a guy you hear from in a couple of years. Or now, if for some reason Fred VanVleet secures some money elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. Terence Davis has been one of those guys who has just earned more opportunity too, as didn't come in as a highly touted prospect, but certainly someone who's got the ability to fill it up whenever he's given the chance. And 46% shooting from the floor this year, like he's been actually good, and 39% from deep. Some of these numbers for Terence Davis might surprise you, but he's been getting steady run and looked good. And those are the guys that you really do want to target, due for some positive regression in terms of minutes and just getting the opportunity. Anybody here who's a non-starter for you at all? Because Stanley Johnson's popping up for me. I don't mind that. Stanley Johnson been able to contribute. Has shown a little more assist upside in Toronto for whatever minutes he has gotten, which I was kind of surprised to learn when digging in today. Juan Hernandez at 3,100, certainly popping up to me just based upon him getting 22 minutes. He's a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy. I know you've talked about Paul Watson on one of the NBA shows this year as just a guy who exists, but he's in the mix. But any of these guys jumping out to you as being someone who is just a non-starter?
Not really. I probably wouldn't get to Hernandez. I don't think his ceiling is high enough. Raptors would be 5 guys, at least as of right now. Boucher, Davis, RHJ, Norm Powell, and Matt Thomas. If I got a little bit of Stanley Johnson, I'd be okay with it, but I'm not too excited about it. I think the ownership for this particular game is coming out correctly. On SuperDraft, Terence Davis has the 2x multiplier. Love that.
Okay. Yeah, I agree there. The SuperDraft, certainly a strong play for him on there. Go to superdraft.io, of course, and use that promo code Awesemo10 to get the $10 free with a deposit of $10 or more, and $20 free if you deposit more than $100, and that money hits your account right away. So play some Terence Davis over at SuperDraft in addition to getting yourself some free cash from them as part of your deposit process. The Denver side, Josh, I really don't have a ton of interest in Denver, though I guess Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes, I need to see how that affects everything. So that might change a little. But the starters in that last game played through the third quarter. I think even if you assume they play just through halftime this time, I mean, you have Jeremy Grant in there who's been a usage hog coming out behind the starters, but I guess he could start now that we don't have Michael Porter Jr., so that could change the equation. This might make PJ Dozier pop up a little more for me, and I guess Bull, a guy people have been dying to play. He's going to get some minutes, I would think, with Grant sucking up Porter Jr.'s minutes, but what would you get out of Denver, if anything?
That's a good question. I'm trying to make an update right now for the Michael Porter Jr. news. So I'm grabbing Alex's most recent update just to make sure that I have the right minutes. I'm leaving it to the boss man on this one. I am not going back in there and trying to hunt down the correct answers here on my own. Excel sheet is stuck in not responding. Oh, now we're back in business. Perfect. It didn't look great when Michael Porter Jr. was in. It was basically just Jokic and then Jamal Murray on DK. I think Jamal Murray is going wildly underrepresented on DraftKings. 5% ownership. Price doesn't matter to me. If he gets 26 minutes, he's a shooter. Shoot. Getting guys that you think can play like 24 plus minutes that are high usage players, those are the guys that I want to focus on. So Jamal Murray, the guy that stands out most to me coming out of Denver.
Interesting. I'm not getting much Jamal Murray because there's a guy at his price range that I like a bit more we can talk about in a second. But I think, actually, let me just look at these numbers really fast to see if anybody popped up, because I also put Awesemo's minutes projections. And of course, you do get that Awesemo minutes projection if you get that Awesemo Plus membership at awesemo.com/join. I was way too many times saying Awesemo in a few sentences, but yeah, it's a great asset here, especially for these weird times of the NBA and for the playoffs as well. As playoff rotations do shrink, Awesemo is going to be there for you with the minutes projections to help you make, if you're making your own projections or just using his data straight away. Lots of ways to use that Awesemo data to make yourself better. Bull now popping up to me because Awesemo has him getting 24 minutes. So I'm intrigued by that. Dozier, I think, is going to get more usage, so I still don't mind that move. But I think that's where I would land with Denver. Jamal Murray. All right. So the reason I'm not getting Jamal Murray at all, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know what he's going to play. My guess would be he's playing at least that first half. My hope would be he gets that third quarter stint as well, gets to 24 minutes, because they don't really have a backup lead ball handler now. That there's no Chris Paul today, no Dennis Schroeder. He's still out for whatever personal reasons that knocked him out of the bubble. It's been mostly Hamidou Diallo picking up the backup point guard minutes, and he's really not a point guard in any meaningful way. He's just a guy who can bring the ball up and then either stand there or try to get his own shot. So I do like Shai quite a bit today, relative to the risk that he comes with. 17% ownership for him feels a little light to me. I think I'm going to be closer to 35. But where are you feeling here with Shai? And I guess, would you prefer Jamal Murray still over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Yes, I highly prefer Jamal Murray to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now. It's weird. Like, normally we talk about target scores and those things matter. I basically don't have like multipliers today. So normally if it's like 5x plus 10, today on DraftKings, the last time I ran it, it was 0.33x plus 33. Like anytime that the constant is so high and the multiplier is so low, what it's telling you is that value is irrelevant. You just want points. I think there's a higher likelihood that Jamal Murray goes on a tear than there is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing the same.
Okay. No, that's
especially with Shai getting more ownership than Jamal Murray right now too.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I mean, Jamal Murray's under 5%. Shai is just under 20, as I mentioned on DraftKings. So certainly going to be some leverage in going to Jamal just based on that ownership number. I just feel like Shai is just this guy who hasn't gotten the opportunity to be the lead guard, as you see these young guards usually grow into, because he's had Paul there, because he's had Schroeder there. So I do think for him, I mean, he's got a 33% usage rate when those guys are off the court. The assist rate also goes up a lot to about 37%. Like, I think the numbers are big enough for him here going against the Clippers. And we have seen teams play more motivated against the Clippers for whatever reason. I don't, I'm not going to read too much into that, but Brooklyn, we saw come out even when they weren't going to play. It's a bit of a measuring stick situation for him, and a revenge game. We gotta get one revenge game in there too. So I don't know. I'm willing to take the stabs on Shai today just because I don't know who else can do anything for them to make shots.
He makes me so nervous on this team, because he's the most important thing to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I guess you could say that Chris Paul not being hurt is just so that they can trade him in the offseason. But Shai is a part of the future and the present. If he were to take an injury that mattered, like if he blew his knee out, we're expecting the season to start in like 3 months. That's really bad again for Oklahoma City. Now, you could say that they're finally trying to tank. They don't bring back Gallo. They trade Chris Paul, and they ultimately just end up on a bunch of really good draft picks. But he's the guy that I would want to put in bubble wrap the most out of maybe anybody on this entire slate. Like, you're playing the long game if you're Oklahoma City, and playing him in a meaningless game in a year where you don't even think you're contending is scary to me. And I kind of want him to be a better shooter for me to want to grab him today. I have him scoring 27 and change DK points. That's going to be too low for me to want to get there with any sort of volume.
That's probably the difference. I have him at 33.5. Alex has him at 30.5. So I think that makes it a little more of a spot you can get to. But yeah, I get it. And also worth noting too, Josh, the NBA did announce, or not announce, but I guess some report came out overnight that might be January or March now the season starts. So that's the...
Yeah, so from everything that I've seen there is that they want to try to push it if they think they can get fans.
Okay.
So if they get to come to the conclusion that they don't think that they'll have fans in the stands, then they want to start it likely in December and just get the games. But if they think they can get the revenue back from having fans, they're willing to push.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, definitely something, not anything that's relevant to slate today, but one of those things that can have a butterfly effect blowing back towards a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Chris Paul. Oklahoma City, the rest of these guys, I'm curious your thoughts. Darius Bazley not going to be owned today, but he's been gunning quite a bit in that second unit. Has had some monster days lately, though. The margin's getting a little narrow with the starters playing. Both Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams expected to be available today. But Bazley's been a good guy in the mix in the last few days, really shooting 15 plus shot attempts per game. Not a guy who's going to be owned today. 6% ownership, even though he has been a bench guy who's been in the mix. And these are the guys who do spike the upside in a meaningful way. Do you see any value in going to Bazley today with, again, that 6% ownership after he's had, I think, 40 fantasy points in 2 straight games?
A little bit, nothing too crazy. Like, he's just sort of in the... I mean, based on Alex's minutes, we've got everybody on Oklahoma City projected to play like between 12 and 24 minutes. So no one's really separating from the pack. It's making Oklahoma City look pretty rough. There's 2 things I want to point out. Whoa, my AirPods just got really weird. Anyway, Raptors lineup came out. Davis, Powell, Thomas, RHJ, Gasol. Just putting that out there now.
So DeJuan probably not in the mix, I would think.
Yeah, and don't let that bother you for Chris Boucher. Another thing that I want to point out too, with regards to Oklahoma City, there's a limit to the amount of people that you can simply rule out. You have to have a certain amount of guys that are active for the day. It's possible that we see Steven Adams be active but not play. I just want to put that sort of thing out there. We might, there are going to be guys that don't show up on the injury report that could potentially just not see the floor either. So don't worry too much about just the official distinction. If I'm taking anybody from Oklahoma City, it would start with Shai. He just doesn't grade out all that well. Next guy up is going to be Darius Bazley, though.
Okay. Yeah, that's about how I would feel about it too. And I don't mind taking some stabs at Hamidou Diallo because he is one of those guys who's been, I think, just looking for a little more room for himself to do something. But he really hasn't been able to do much of anything thus far. And the usage rate for him still not taking gigantic jumps without the stars. So, the price for Diallo, if you're minimum price, I think I'd take that shot a little bit more than I would at 4,300 on DraftKings. On the other side of this equation, we'll talk about Miami in a second, another important but a guy's out ravaged team that's going to have some value. But the Clippers side is another one that I think you can get to and feel mostly comfortable about these guys getting their minutes. We talked about that the last time I had an NBA Live Before Lock show. And, Kawhi Leonard's been playing pretty good minutes for the most part this entire bubble time. I think because maybe just trying to keep that hamstring / quad situation loose enough. Paul George also saw a spike in minutes last game, even though he had his run short in the game before that. 33 minutes for Kawhi last game, 36 for Paul George. I think these guys are going to be safe-ish. I don't expect them to play mid-30s, but it feels like maybe they get to 28. And I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts here because actually Alex bumped his minutes projection down, now has these guys at 24 minutes.
Yeah. So on FanDuel, I love Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite plays of the day. Using that projection of 24 minutes, he projects for like 35 fantasy points. That is an incredible baseline to have. So the ownership is already there, 85% owned. I'm down to go to Kawhi Leonard on DraftKings if he's only 20% owned. That seems like a really nice spot to go. You don't care at all about the salary. You're not worried about him getting 50 at 10K. That's just not a thing. He has like probably the third highest individual projection for the day. That's all I'm looking for. I like the raw point ceiling of Kawhi here. The guy that's giving me a little bit more pause is Paul George. I'm not entirely sure I love him if he's at the same sort of ownership. I've got him like 4.5 points behind Kawhi Leonard. He might be a little bit trickier to get to.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what's the logic for why Paul George would be trickier to get to? Because I just view them as the same as like they're going to get their mid-20s to 30 minutes and can spike an upside in that time. But I guess why are you viewing them as a different equation?
Because Kawhi Leonard is a lot better than Paul George. Since we don't care, like, we're throwing salary out. So for me, I don't think that these two guys should be owned the same rate. Kawhi Leonard, in my opinion, is like a 1.4 fantasy point per minute guy. Paul George is like 1.2. That matters on a day where I expect them to, it's not like I expect Kawhi to play 38 minutes and Paul George to play 16. They're going to play like the same amount of minutes. They're not running these guys into the ground. And if that's the case, Kawhi should just be beating him out way more often than not. Like, if you're just doing a 2v or a 1v1 between Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, what's the ownership if you're just picking between those two guys? It's got to be like 80 to 90% Kawhi, right? On a day when salary doesn't matter?
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
So then why would their ownership be the same? That's weird to me. Either Kawhi is getting wildly underrepresented or Paul George is slightly overowned, but I don't think that they can both be right.
Okay. I guess with Kawhi, the thing is, and it's something that's been a little bit less evident in this Clippers stint, but maybe more so when he was a Raptor and the Spurs stops. But, I think the long-term thing is that Kawhi is more of the cash game guy who's going to give you the floor and maybe a little bit less of a ceiling. And Paul George is going to give you more of a ceiling, but probably less of a floor. So I think that maybe still the prism I view it through is that Paul George can spike that upside, can shoot 10 3-pointers and a half and make 8 of them and like have that. Whereas Kawhi is going to kind of chip. And I think for a short burst game, that's why I'm at least viewing them equally and wanting to get some Paul George in. But I get what you're saying. I mean, Kawhi's definitely had more upside as a Clipper.
Okay. Ooh, I have my updated contenders top 10 for each site.
Go for it.
I'm going to drop that into the follow-up tweet. So if you don't follow me now, at Josh Engleman is the place to go. I'm going to give what I currently have as my top 10 for both FanDuel, DraftKings, and SuperDraft.
All right, so go follow him and follow at Chris Spags too, so you can see my stuff. I'll talk more about what's going on in our live Afterlock show. So hang out on the stream, even if you are done with your NBA lineups, kill some time before MLB and all the other stuff you have to do today. Hang out with us. We're doing about another hour after we go off here, just drinking, talking, doing like kind of the old school roundtable things we used to do on here. So that'll be a fun thing. So make sure you hang out with us on the show. Let's go.
I'm already drinking, man. I already got my cocktail.
That's true, Josh. I'm drinking water to start because it was 9:30 here when we started the show, and I've been up since 7 trying to wrap my head around this stuff. But we will be drinking. We'll be getting loose here. So do the same and drink your waters now to make sure you're feeling real refreshed for all the bullshit that's going to happen.
Well, I was anticipating this cocktail happening at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, and then woke up to see that lock was 1:30, and we were clearly doing this super early.
Yeah, it is a very stupid timing for an NBA slate, but the good news is we know one bit of news that's important. So hit that like button so we can talk about the Miami Heat appropriately, a team that we know Jimmy Butler out, Goran Dragic out, or Dragic out. I flip between that one way too often. And Bam Adebayo also out. So lots of minutes here vacated for the guys left behind. Kendrick Nunn returning to the team, not on the injury report after, I don't even know what happened with him. He was ill, but then was quarantined, and now he's back. They still reports that he left the bubble. I don't even know. The point being, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero should be popular plays today. Weirdly, Hero much higher owned than Kendrick Nunn, which I kind of surprised by because Hero, they're both important rotation guys, but Hero's one I could see getting the hook a little earlier, whereas Nunn, maybe you want to get his confidence up and give him some extra run today as a young guy who hasn't had a lot of lead ball handler times to get him goosed up for the playoffs. But I'm getting a lot of Heat guys. I think Hero, Nunn are the core guys. Chris Silva coming off the bench, I think interesting as well. I also, Myers Leonard should be in the mix. I've gotten there. I'm mostly playing one of Myers or Chris Silva. I'm not getting them in both in multiple lineups anyway. But I think for me, it's an either or play. And Solomon Hill, one would think gets some run here. But Josh, what would you get out of Miami with a lot of guys who are going to have some usage to stoke up with no Butler and Dragic?
Shout out to just asking for people to go follow you on Twitter. My notifications are just going insane with ads. So what's up, everybody? Welcome. I got a tweet earlier when I put out my final update. You made me think of it now. Who be Chris Silva?
He'd be a good player. I'd say.
He was playing backup center minutes at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. I really like both Kendrick Nunn and Chris Silva in this spot. I think they're going essentially completely under-owned. But Kendrick Nunn in particular, if he is 10% owned, there's a decent chance I'd end up with 40 or 50. That's where I'd like to be today. To me, it's Kendrick Nunn season coming out of this. Very clearly, you want solid exposure to Tyler Hero. That's exactly the kind of guy that you're looking for on a day like today. The people are already there on DraftKings. I don't mind playing him and Nunn together, and I think this looks like a perfect opportunity to grab yourself some underrepresented Nunn. I think Chris Silva is probably like a 5 to 10%er. He's not getting a lot of love. I just have a hard time believing that he goes for 50 fantasy points or something stupid today. But stranger things have happened. He's like a 1.1 guy. So Nunn is my favorite guy given ownership. Tyler Hero would be the most cash game viable. Chris Silva would be my flyer.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that one. And I guess, would you get any Myers Leonard? Because he has shown, that 50-ish fantasy point upside before when he's got, just mostly gotten lucky or there's been a big out. Are you getting to him in an equal amount to Silva, or would you still prefer Silva?
To who? I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
It's Myers Leonard or Silva. Okay. If you had to choose, are you still heavily favoring Silva, or is Leonard also in the mix?
It would be for sure Chris Silva. As sure as anything could be on a slate like this. Alex has Myers Leonard projected for 2 fantasy points or 2 minutes more than Chris Silva. I have Chris Silva as a 1.07 fantasy point per minute guy as a baseline. Myers Leonard 0.81. I don't think that Myers Leonard is making that sort of gap up in 2 minutes. So I have Chris Silva 3 points ahead of him.
Okay. So, all right, that makes sense. And you're looking at the projections too, a much better projection on Silva, and really neither guy going to be owned. So it probably does make sense to go to the guy who's going to have the better projection on paper. But Leonard, to me, I did put him in some lines where I had Silva and was like, oh, Silva looks good, but let me just get Leonard in case he's the one that gets some upside. So I'm going to have more than the 3% or 3.7% we have projected for Leonard, and definitely going to have a lot more than the 1.9% projected for Chris Silva, guy who, as Josh mentioned, 1.06, 1.07 fantasy points per minute. Good rebounder, very productive out there in terms of doing peripheral things, and good at getting himself some easy buckets too. So 62% field goal from the floor for Chris Silva on the year. He's just 1 foot away shots for Chris Silva over and over again.
Can't beat it.
Let's see, the Indiana side is another one with some question marks. We saw Edmund Sumner go off last game in a big way as Aaron Holiday killed me in so many lineups. And that was a gigantic disappointment, but that's what happens. Sumner, the kind of guy you want to see get minutes here. He's looks pretty aggressive coming off the bench. Also going to see some run here for Alize Johnson. Also, do we know if Goga's in yet or not? I haven't seen that.
Alex has him in. I don't believe we have any official word yet. He's still listed as questionable.
Yeah, Goga is questionable. Also, it is Jeremy Grant starting from Michael Porter Jr. today, so keep that in mind when building your lines for the Nuggets. And I don't know how that materially changes a ton for Jeremy Grant. He's going to get less usage, but potentially a little more minutes. So definitely some machinations there with the Denver lineup. But onto this Indiana side, I don't really like many of these guys. TJ McConnell pops up a little bit for me, but he's going to be 21% owned. TJ Leaf, minimum price I could see getting to if Goga's out, though I guess, honestly, he's probably playable even if Goga's in, just because Goga can't play a ton of minutes. He's a big dude who's not in the best conditioning as we've seen whenever he's played so far. Leaf is a dude who sucked in the last year, and I know we had some streams that had talked about him being pretty inept. He's up to 0.97 fantasy points per minute this year. He's actually been mostly competent, which I was surprised to see when digging through today. Leaf is a guy I can get to. Sumner I got a little bit of, and I did take a little bit of Aaron Holiday just in the hopes that he bounces back. I don't know that he's going to have a ton of minutes here, even though he's a young guy. He is a starter, or has been a starter at least. So what are you getting, if anything, out of Indiana?
Yeah, this is the team that I like the least today. The game total is low. Everybody's grading out in bright red coloring, which is not a positive coloring in my spreadsheet. Only guy that I would get any sort of lean to would be TJ McConnell. even that is a bit of a stretch. I don't really recommend anybody from Indy unless we start to get news that Brogdon and or Goga are out. If we gain those 20 minutes or even potentially 40 minutes if they're both out, then a couple more guys from Indiana will creep to the top. But as of right now, I think they're going to be a little bit too spread out for anybody to be like a truly viable, fun option.
Okay. Yeah, I think that seems more appropriate than wanting to get a ton of these guys. And really none of them ownership-wise popping up a bunch. You do have, as I mentioned, the ownership on TJ McConnell. TJ Leaf, though, going to also be 8% owned, so he's not a forgotten man either ownership-wise, even though very low number relative to some of the other cheap guys we're going to find value today. Make sure to hit that like button, guys. And again, if you missed it earlier, we will be going later today than usual. We're going to have a bunch of your favorite Awesemo people coming in the back half of the show, or rather after these slate locks for my little final soiree here. And we're going to be drinking, so hang out with us, stick with it. And of course, hit that like button. Help us hit some likes. Josh, give me one of your patented Josh like pandering motions so we can get the numbers up to a respectable level.
Yeah, I did it yesterday once you and Alex got off the show because
you really shat on us.
Yeah, you did a terrible job
baseball, man. It's me. People want basketball. You know that.
No, I know. It was just fun to say. We got up over 500 yesterday. It was great. Like, there are 1,400 people in here right now, 216 likes. That ratio is just preposterous. We've been bringing you the goods from the beginning of the NBA season. Spags and I have been bringing you the goods since early 2018. So hit that thumbs up for if you've been around since the beginning. Hit that thumbs up if you're just getting here today just to see Chris off. Either way, whatever we can get, hit that thumbs up. I mean, it's got to be north of 300, but I think by the time this is said and done, we're going to need 500 on there. I don't want to set too lofty of a goal now, or otherwise no one's going to get there. We got to take it off little bites. Pac-Man doesn't eat the whole screen at once. He gets one of those little individual nuggets each single time that he goes through.
It's exactly how it works here. And of course, likes do help out every YouTube channel, not just ours. But when you're watching Awesemo shows, just hit that like button when you come in, because it does help out all the hosts. And as we get some more new hosts in the mix, picking up some shifts, support those guys as they get into the mix more. And just good for morale, good for you guys. And better picks come when we all feel properly motivated with the like button. That's just how it goes. Let's see the last part of the slate here. We've talked about the Houston side, or at least the James Harden component up top. But the rest of the Rockets here for you, Josh. I know people we're going to own Austin Rivers probably a little bit here because they'll remember his upside. Robert Covington projects for a lot of ownership, I guess, because there's nothing else at the position that people want to go to. But anything for you at Houston jumping out besides the aforementioned James Harden?
Not Robert Covington. I think he's going over-owned. I'm not entirely sure why he is becoming like the guy for today. Revenge narrative, I guess, for Philly. Who the hell knows? I mean, it's still Harden for me. He just makes everything easier. He makes it easy to swap later, and he is without question the guy with the highest ceiling on this slate. Otherwise, I think we need to get some news on Houston before anybody looks like truly good. I can see one of Austin Rivers or Ben McLemore taking a bit of a leap. I think I prefer Ben McLemore in that scenario. Eric Gordon, oddly enough, is probably primed here. I don't think he's going to get like short minutes today. He's going to play like sort of as many minutes as they would possibly play him, unless this was game 7 of the finals. I think he's going to go fully under-owned. Might be a decent guy. Like, you know, he's another one of those guys where, like, if Eric Gordon starts getting hot shooting, he'll just keep shooting. Those are the right kind of guys to get, especially with Russ out. He's going to be their second highest usage player. Eric Gordon would be a guy that I would be happy to take a flyer on. And then if James Harden gets ruled out, I mean, all bets are off here.
Yeah, I think that's the revenge narrative is one I actually didn't even think about with Covington, but he really has.
Or should you?
I know, surprisingly, that didn't occur to me, but no, I don't see with Covington. He just hasn't spiked an upside in a meaningful way without Westbrook, and I don't expect him to get that in Philadelphia in a game where we're questioning the minutes already for these guys. I wouldn't want 31% Covington. And some of Covington, I'll get some of because power forward's a terrible position, but on DraftKings, maybe go down to Boucher. I think leave that money on the table would be what I would do there, but that's my instinct. Philadelphia side too, we also have some question marks. Joel Embiid questionable, literally on the injury report, and then the other Sixers, I guess, are going to play again today, and Alec Burks should be back in the mix, but you have to assume these guys aren't going to play big minutes. As a result, I don't think I'm getting much. There you go. There's my secret third animal, by the way, climbing into the camera with the cat. my lovely animal Nilla, making her live before lock debut here as I go out and knocking pillows over in the process.
I hope that the cat doesn't knock over your water. You'll need a bucket and mop for that wet cat.
Yeah, that wet ass cat, that wet ass something or other. Yeah,
I didn't want to go full bore on that one.
No, as you shouldn't. We don't want to get in trouble for you on my last day here after a career of respectability that you've had. Philadelphia, I don't see anything here I want. Maybe Raul Neto, I guess, is the one guy I should qualify that with. His usage rate has gone up exponentially for whatever reason, which is not what you normally think of Neto, but over 15 shots in his last 2 games, certainly seizing some of what Alec Burks left behind last game, but also asserting himself just because there's no Ben Simmons and they need somebody to soak up some of those minutes. So anything here for Philly, I guess, including Raul Neto, and also the Kyle O'Quinn and Norvell Pell question have to be asked because of Joel Embiid's status.
Yeah, I'm in for Kyle O'Quinn. The most surprising thing to happen on this entire slate would be Joel Embiid playing. I don't understand how he could possibly see the floor today. That would be it. It would be mind-boggling. So Kyle O'Quinn to me is the best guy that you can get from Philly, at least as of right now. I've got him projected for the highest amount of fantasy points on the team, 27. After that, I probably lean to like Korkmaz. I think he's probably the most likely scenario to see like 24 or 26 minutes, something in that neighborhood. But it's got to be Kyle O'Quinn to start. He's got to be the number 1 guy from Philly, assuming Embiid is out.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would agree. If Embiid is out, and you have to assume too that Kyle O'Quinn actually is going to play. I know he sat in that back-to-back last game, but played 32 minutes and has not clearly been in the best conditioning, I think, generally, and just a big dude who probably shouldn't play a back-to-back. So I would think that he gets that run over Norvell Pell today. And Optimizer is certainly going to give you Kyle O'Quinn as well on the assumption that Embiid is out. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. But against Houston, it worries me a little bit to go to those guys just because there's some ways to get away from that if things get a little weird. But I do have some Kyle O'Quinn, and I think that makes sense. Yeah. Got a premium or a super chat here. Of course, we're going to look at all your questions too, because it's a slate here full of question marks. So if you have them, drop in the premium Slack or in the YouTube chat. Joshua Heinz saying, I need one guy you think is a lock for sure, and one you think will be a sneaky slick pick based upon starters sitting. First of all, he's super chatted, so we have to answer it. That's just the rule. That's always been the rule here and always will be the rule. But I just like the way that he phrased that. One lock for sure. We love those in DFS, and a sneaky slick pick. So Josh, give me your lock for sure first.
Okay. If I'm just talking about building my lineup, not necessarily their performance, then I think the lock for your lineup is James Harden just because of being able to late swap out of it. If we're talking about just simply performance, I think Tyler Hero probably has sort of like the safest combination of everything. I think his minutes are there. He's the type of player I would want. He's already getting ownership, so like it can't hurt you that bad. I would say Tyler Hero would be safest, and then my slick safety, what?
Sneaky slick pick. Sneaky slick.
Okay. My sneaky slick pick, probably coming from the same team, it's Kendrick Nunn. If that ownership really is 1/5 of Tyler Hero, then I'm going to go to Nunn.
I think that, and he's not as sneaky as he should be, but I think in terms of people who are sharp or maybe are a little bit less sharp, I think Terence Davis is still the sneaky slick one, where that's the one that like people who know stuff will be on him heavily. That's why he's going to be 53% owned. But I think the general public doesn't think Terence Davis is a dude that matters too much. So that would be my sneaky slick pick. But you know what? Let's dig a little deeper. Go to somebody who's not even going to be owned at all. And I just like sneaky slick pick. I wish we had thought of this earlier. We could have done sneaky slick picks every day.
What's the sneaky slick pick of the day? That's what I'm renaming contenders to. The sneaky
Chris
slick
Silva,
picks.
Another Heat guy. The sneaky slick pick of the day is Chris Silva, I think. Very sneaky slick, under 2% projected ownership. And he even has an S in his name. So Silva sneaky slick pick. Stamp it, send it around. All the S's. Boom. Sneaky slick. All right, let's look at the premium Slack, see if there's anything good going on in there. Lots of very kind people in the chat. Thank you in the premium Slack, guys. I've been trying to reply to all your stuff and hit the notifications for you guys, or give you guys a little heart when I'm reading stuff. But all of you guys out there, and Dave, our old pal Dave, with his beautiful food pick, sent me a $1.50 Venmo. So shout out Dave, for our boy, for always being kind. Jeff Williams,
he's definitely always something.
I love Dave. Dave is good for morale in the Slack. Those are the guys. He's a glue guy you want to have in your lineup. That's for sure.
He's good people for sure.
He's a sneaky slick pick.
Yeah.
Power forward actually on FanDuel. It looks like the sneaky slick pick is also in play there. Chris Silva, I think, looks like the top power forward based on Osso's projections. So would you agree that he'd be the power forward you would go to?
On FanDuel?
Yeah.
Yes, he is my sneaky slick pick.
It's funny how we get these things in our head, and then like I can't get off of sneaky slick pick. Like now it is trapped here.
Why would you want to?
It's a good point. Iron Maiden asking Grant or RHJ if money doesn't matter. He doesn't know if Grant gets fourth quarter run or not now. I think Grant gets a little less appealing. I think he gets pulled a little earlier because of being with the starters, but maybe you have a lean that's different there, Josh. Would you go Jeremy Grant or Rondé Hollis-Jefferson?
Rondé Hollis-Jefferson.
Yeah, I agree. Rondé. I didn't get enough Rondé today, and it honestly gives me a little bit of a panic because I hate not getting Rondé because then that's when he goes off for 40 points. And I should try to get a little more Rondé in now that I'm thinking about it.
I'll say this much. I have never in my life been panicked because I didn't have enough Rondé Hollis-Jefferson before lock. Yeah, and that's true. It's usually like, we got to get Chris Boucher, and then Rondé Hollis-Jefferson has the 50 fantasy points. So yeah,
Rondé is going to be 66% owned. That is a crazy high number for Rondé, even as a value play.
How owned is Tim Quarterman today?
Tim, 0.1%, and it's going to be me going one ceremonial lineup and burn it.
Is he in the player pool?
He should be. He still pops up in NBA 2K, by the way. And there was one time where I put him on my roster and gave him some run. It was like, I'm proud of you, Tim Quarterman. You've made it, my friend.
He should get like an email automatically generated that someone used him, so he knows that that's like he gets like his residual. Like you should, if you're going to get paid for those games, you should only get paid by how often someone uses your character. That's how much your likeness should be worth. Like it's based on the amount of time that your likeness is on the screen.
Well, it's kind of like how Spotify works. So it does make sense relative to the marketplace. I would support that.
There we go. I have Revolution. That's how you can bring back all the NCAA games. Bring back NCAA football. Bring back NCAA basketball. You get paid based on how much you're on the screen, just like Spotify.
Let's see. Tanner T saying, which three of these for cash? Thank you for the super chat, Tanner. Nunn, Hero, Burks, Davis for cash. Oh, also, he's asked us to give us three guys out of four. All right, you gave us
First of all, if you're playing cash today, you are a full-on savage. None for. Oh wait, Hero for sure is one of the three. Like
it's Nunn, Hero, Davis. I think Burks is not cash.
Is that Alec Burks?
Yeah,
I'm just making sure that I'm not missing a Burks. Yeah, it's Nunn, Hero, Burks, or it's Nunn, Hero, Davis.
Yes. I just think it's funny. Like, put in all these guys and like we can build your cash game lineups for you. Sure, why not? Hey, I don't care. Whatever makes you happy. Yeah. E-ball asking, is 43% too much Jokic, guys? I would say that's a little bit too much for me.
That's a really scary play because once you're in on Jokic. There's no take backs. Like, he could play the first rotation, and they're like, we cut to Nikola Jokic, who's taken off his jersey, shorts, and shoes, and is now laying on the baseline. That's in play. At the same time, he's got the second highest projection on the slate. So I can't really say that that's bad because to me, that's probably proper right now. It only gets tricky because that game starts at 1:30.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right way to look at it. I definitely got less Jokic, so I got him popping up in the optimizer. So I put a little more in just because if I'm getting him with Alex's projections in the optimizer, I don't want to completely ignore that. And certainly, has the center upside, but I don't know. I'd rather go to some of these other cheap guys who I know are going to get run, or Chris Boucher, who's got the dual position eligibility. That's how I'm playing it mostly. Geek Mike B asking favorite point guard on FanDuel besides Dunn. I'm going to pull up Alex's data here, but who would you think yours would be?
Favorite point guard on FanDuel besides Nunn?
Yep.
Jamal Murray.
Yeah. Jamal Murray is also Alex's number 2, so I think that seems right. Maybe TJ McConnell. I think I wouldn't mind either, assuming he just gets a little more run today. But yeah, it does seem like it's Jamal Murray for Awesemo's projections. So there you go. no questions in the Slack that I'm seeing. All right, going back to YouTube. So now's your chance, YouTube. Get your best questions in here. Somebody's saying that cash is actually a good idea today because of all the no duped train lineups. Let others make stupid plays. I could see where you're coming from with that. I still would not probably play cash today, at least at a large amount.
It would be very scary. Look, playing today in general, if you can dedicate the time to be around for 15 minutes before every single lock, it's a net benefit, but you got to do a lot more work than you normally have to. It's not for me.
I agree. Favorite Raptor other than Boucher and Davis? Eric Johnson is asking. Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. Favorite Raptor other than Boucher and Davis for me would be, let me just pull these guys up one more time. I mean, it's probably has to be Rondé Hollis Jefferson, I would think, but I'm still going to have more Norman Powell than I think people, well, actually, no, not more, because he's going to be 57% owned. I'm going to have an appropriate amount of Norman Powell, so I think I would still go his way.
Let me delete these stupid minutes that are in on Toronto for Fred VanVleet and Serge Ibaka. Done. So besides Davis and Boucher, it's Powell for me.
Yeah.
Matt Thomas. It's Matt Thomas. Yeah, it's Matt Thomas for me. I've got RHJ at 25.8. I've got Powell at 26.5, and I've got Matt Thomas at 27.2, with Thomas coming in at the least amount of ownership. So give me Matt Thomas.
God, I messed up some of the Matt Thomas's rates because Alex has him at 26.3 and you have him there, and I have him at 23.8. I wonder why I didn't change, but I just worried, like, he's just a pure scoring guy. Like, if his threes don't fall, that's what worried me a little bit, or what would worry me a little bit. But yeah, Matt Thomas is definitely the lowest owned out of that grouping.
Did you update his minutes? Alex has him at 32, the most on the team.
Oh, I guess I didn't take the most recent one. I have him at 30, so that might be the difference then.
Yeah. That'll get you another 1.5 at the minimum.
Let's see. No, it's not. Is Shake Milton a good play for FanDuel? I would say probably not.
I can't say that he's a bad play. He's just in this gigantic bucket of, like, who the hell knows. He doesn't stand out is probably the easiest way to talk about it. Because there are guys that stand out. There are guys that are just obviously not available to be used today. And then there's like 80% of the player pool that's kind of just, well, if we get the right info. I would say Shake Milton is in that sort of middle ground. He doesn't stand out, but he's certainly not a cross-off.
I just don't like Shake as much these days for the most part because, like, the minutes he's going to be out there, which are going to be limited in some respect, probably. He's going to be out there with Tobias Harris, who's been gunning. Like, even Al Horford's been looking for a shot a little bit more. He's going to be with guys that are going to be going for theirs. I said it the other day. I would keep going to Neto for now. Just I think he's a stronger play overall than Shake with the way that those lineups and the rotations work.
About time for everybody to hit that thumbs up again. 381. We need to clear 400. Stat. Just hit it.
We're so close. And of course, stay on here. I know it's 5 minutes to lock. Usually this is the time where you guys jump off when you finish your lineups, but we're doing another hour on the stream here. Going to have a lot of your favorite Awesemo personalities coming in to hang out and drink with me and Josh to celebrate my last show here. So please, let's hang around, stick around with us. It'll be very casual here. And from Josh, Laffy, and Ben's days doing the morning show, things get a little off color, a little bit or colorful, depending upon how you're looking at things. So we'll have some fun here in the next back half of the show. Is Goga Bitadze a good play today? Dave, hot take. He's a good play if he plays. He's still questionable last that I saw.
Yeah, that one's a tough one just because he, I think, is like truly up in the air to play, not like from an actual injury perspective. If he is in... Look, I just really don't like Indy. Brogdon is the guy who, if he's out, will really open stuff up. If Goga is out... Jakar Sampson is probably going to become like pretty important.
Yeah, Jakar Sampson is going to become pretty important is never a sentence I want to really lean in on, but I think TJ Leaf becomes very important if Goga's out because he's going to get a lot of minutes. I think as the big.
You think they go to TJ Leaf over Jakar Sampson?
No, I think they go with them both. Jakar's been the 4 for the most part.
Jesus, I hate this team.
It's not great, but I think TJ Leaf gets some run here if we don't get Goga. I mean, he's going to get run even if Goga's in, but I think he's going to get like real run if Goga is out. looking through the questions here. Nothing in the Slack. Last few minutes here. Get your questions in. Hit that like button. Get us to 500 before we even start the half of the next hour. And we'll be talking about some more stuff coming up there. Jeremy Grant or Powell is the question for Drew on the kit. That would be Powell for me now that Grant is starting.
Jeremy Grant or Powell? It's Powell.
Yeah, I think it's Powell. Jokic dropped 62 FanDuel points on Raptors last time they played in 35 minutes. He's not going to play 35 minutes today, and it's also one game. So
thanks for super relevant information.
Yeah, that would not be Arizona drama. I get where you're going for that, but don't worry too much about a person's last matchup and try to project that relative to what they're doing today. That's just not the best approach for you, even though I get
if Jokic plays 35 minutes, I'll eat this foam cap to my microphone.
All right, so now we have to root for Nikola Jokic to play 35 minutes. That would be a terrible coaching decision. All right, let's see here. We got nothing good in the Slack. Now people asking where I'm going. This guy, Brian, I just figured out who Spags is. He's leaving for something or somewhere or whatever. Thank you. That's my elevator pitch too.
That'll work.
All right, TJ and Powell. Wait, TJ, who's TJ? Oh, TJ McConnell and Powell, or none and RHJ for DK. It would be, man, that's actually a really tough choice. TJ McConnell and Norman Powell, or none and RHJ for you on DraftKings. Which would it be? Because I actually don't know that I have a lean.
So TJ McConnell and Norman Powell. And then it's Kendrick Nunn and, Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Did I get that right? I did. Nunn RHJ, not close. If Malcolm Brogdon gets ruled out, that gets a little bit weirder because TJ McConnell will take a boost. But for right now, I have Nunn RHJ, 6 fantasy points higher and $600 cheaper. Not that salary matters.
Okay, so there you go. I'm willing to go with that one. I do like both sides of that equation, though. I think that was actually, there aren't a lot of either ors where I'm like, actually, I really like both sides of that one. And that was one that I think you have two good choices there. Make 2 lineups would be my other suggestion.
Also true.
Let's see. 2 minutes left to lock. Get those lineups in. I'm looking through all your guys' questions. Here's a fun one. Spags or Engleman at shooting guard for FanDuel. I mean, I would gun completely relentlessly, whereas I think Josh would try to play the right way. So I would take me as an upside play.
Yeah, I was never much of a shooter. Not like a volume shooter.
You could check my Instagram at Chris Spags. You can see my highlight reel from when I was at Barstool and had to play on one-on-one game on the live stream. That jumper's wet, baby. That's getting you that upside you need. And turnovers, though, might be an issue on FanDuel, I guess. It could be one that's problematic if I get a little too full of myself.
How's your conditioning right now?
Not great. That's true. Josh has been running a lot, so he's more equipped to play 35.
I was like, I'm in. I think I could outlast you.
I see. The thing is, I could play a game. Like I would be like that dude in the basketball tournament. Like what's his name? OG, whatever. Like the kind of chubby white guy who was what? No, not OG Kenobi. It was he was on the Marshall team, and he was just gunning OG Eldridge. I think it was.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, he was like a little sloppy, just looked like one of those guys, but hit like 7 threes in one of the games. It was actually a lot of fun. It made you feel like you could be that guy out there, even if you were the dad bod type at this point. All right, looking at the premium Slack. One last run here. We are locked, so hang on, guys. Stick with us. We're doing another hour here and swapping some people in and out. How are we doing this, by the way? We didn't. Nobody told me anything.
Jordan's handling it all. I think we're just going to change our scene, and then it's going to be just a giant Zoom call of random people just showing up.
All right. So yeah, we'll hang out here. Should I get alcohol? How are we doing this?
That's our final lock, man.
We want to do one last Uncle Spags, Uncle Chubbs likes.
Are we allowed to do that now?
I don't know if it got trademarked or not.
Frowns upon it. Can we just look at ownership? Can we not call it a really, really awful, uncomfortable name?
That was why I always enjoyed it, though. Also, can we talk about PGA for 1 second now that NBA is done? This weekend, all the guys who I've played who have killed me over the last month to 2 months are going off. Tom Hoge, Harold Varner, like these guys have murdered me in so many tournaments, and they're all having the best time of their lives. It's very tilting for me, Josh.
I can't look at it right now. Heading into the day, the 8 most chalky guys in the mini-max were all like +3 strokes gained in the first round. It was just an absolute my fourth best lineup of 150 was my cash lineup, and that's never a good sign. It's turning a little bit positively to me, so now I'm just trying to not pay attention to golf at all. I just really need the cut to come in at -3.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because this tournament is like the exact opposite of last one, where all these guys are just raking up completely absurd numbers. But I'll pull the ownership. We can see what's going on next here. And let me just reply to this Slack.
I'm going to pour my second cocktail, but we'll call it the first one for happy hour.
All right. Let's see. And I'll pull up the ownership as well. In the NBA Friday shoot around for this tournament, we'll see the various ownerships of the various assholes that people are doing. And then Jordan's going to share our whole Zoom call. Yeah, whatever you think works, Jordan. It's cool by me. All right. So, Chris Boucher, 72%. I'm there. I have no issue with it.
70 on DK?
Yep.
That's a big number, man.
That is. But he's got to get minutes. There's no way he doesn't get minutes today.
I don't know. Maybe they're really big fans of Duan Hernandez.
You want to see what Duan Hernandez has to offer. I think that's the issue that does pop up. I'm honestly going to be bummed if Duan goes off because he was popping up so much in the projections when when I assume we had Gasol playing no minutes, and now he's popping up less, and I'm terrified that he's going to go off.
Jake's in chat. He asked what I'm drinking. That would be the only thing that I ever drink on these streams other than red wine. That would be the Cavassier.
Got Terence Davis getting 39%, Rondé Hollis Jefferson getting 38%. I would prefer the Terence Davis 39%. Rondé actually much lower owned than we had him for.
Same for Terence Davis. I love Terence Davis if he's in the 30s.
Yeah, that's I have a lot of Terence Davis today. We talked about him. I mean, what did you have on him for a projection? Because I didn't even tinker with it because I probably normally would, but I had him getting 38 fantasy points today with the rates that he had without the stars.
38?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's wrong.
I wanted to make sure I got enough of him was why. So I was just like, fine, I'll keep it.
28.
Okay. Yeah, Awesemo has him at 29. If he gets 38.3 today, though, let's all look back at this moment as my crowning achievement.
Yeah, you're going out on top if he does that. You're going to be like Daniel Cormier, win and go and retire at the top.
Jesus. An aggressive one by all my UTA accounts blocked. Thank you, Spags, for the good work. I think Boucher made love to Nick Nurse's wife. There's no other explanation for his minutes. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing him now, so maybe he's gotten more comfortable with the situation.
I mean, the thing with Boucher's minutes is that he's not as good as the other people that play the 4 and the 5.
Yeah. And yeah, that definitely.
There's only so many minutes to go around when you have Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, and Pascal Siakam soaking up 86 of the 96 minutes.
Yeah, one day though they're going to have that like Siakam Boucher lineup, and he's going to be at his peak potential, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see. They were both so long and so athletic.
He won't even be on the team at that point.
Boucher?
Yeah, he's not like long for the Raptors or anything.
I don't know. I kind of think of him as like a Christian Wood guy where I hope he doesn't get kicked around. I hope they kind of realize what they have in him, but they develop these guys pretty well. Like OG Anunoby too. Certainly they've developed pretty well.
There's the boss man.
Oh, there's Alex.
I mean, the public doesn't know that, I don't think, but we do.
What's up, guys?
What's up, boss?
How's it going, Alex? How is your day going? How are you feeling about this NBA slate? Did we play anybody who's actively terrible that you faded?
Man, I feel really uncomfortable with Chris Silva. But like as you guys were saying on the show, it's like he's a high point per minute guy, and that's kind of what we're looking for. So my ace in the hole is Kyle Quinn. Like you guys were saying, I just don't think Joel Embiid plays. So
yeah. When I posted that Chris Silva was in my top 10 earlier, there were people being like, who the hell is that?
Well, the crazy thing, he actually played like 45 games this year, apparently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a big part of their rotation. He was the backup center for a while to start the season.
Yeah. So actually, I guess real fast, I should just say, because YouTube's been asking, and I deliberately just didn't want to say it because I just felt like it's weird to put the focus anywhere other than Awesemo, given how great Alex, Tom, Eddie, all the guys behind the scenes, all of my co-hosts have been. But I'm going to Vegas Insider. That's going to be my new day job, heading up their video and podcast divisions, and really trying to do what Alex and Tom and Eddie and hopefully us as hosts have done for DFS for sports betting. And Alex, maybe you have some thoughts about this because I'm actually curious, and I should have done more due diligence to actually ask people because in terms of prep. But I just feel like sports betting content out there right now is really stupid for the most part, and like not in a disparaging way, and not about the place I'm going to, obviously, but in general, like a lot of it is just somebody saying like, "Hey, play Brendan Todd. He's a good golfer." And I hate it because so much we do here is about like showing your work and showing like, "Hey, here's how I landed on Chris Silva being a good play. Here's all that stuff." So that's what I'm hoping to do for sports betting. But I guess, Alex, like, give me all your thoughts about what you do if you were going to make a sports betting website and try to make it not suck.
Can you hit record on this, Jordan? Asking for a friend.
Well, to be fair, I think we're going to need some of those tips.
So, I mean, obviously, we're planning to do sports betting as well. So it sucks to lost.
So just tell me all the plans that we have for OddsShopper and other Awesemo odds content.
But I might need a couple more drinks before I really lay out the vision here. But I think sports betting is more of an entertainment product to most people. So it's just all about like making it a good community experience, and then like giving people a hope that they can beat the lines. It's tough to do, but if you find the right market, it's a lot easier. I just don't know. Like I'm just a little bit worried that if we're good, we're going to get people banned from their sports books. So like, I don't know exactly how the future of sports betting looks, but I'd be interested to hear your take.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's sort of the same way I always view content. I think kind of what Alex is saying is that, like, I think it's really important that, you want to hang out with people. Like, I think that's what we've done on these shows. Like EMAC is my old pal legitimately doing these shows. And I feel like that comes across on the air. And I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of it is, with the democratization of content. This is me I'm going to wax poetic a lot over this hour, guys. So strap yourselves in. But I think for me, that's sort of how I view it, is like, it has to just be fun. You have to enjoy hanging out with these people, and you have to hope that, you teach them something along the way to make them slightly smarter, because I think there are a lot of, companies out there, not speaking of anybody in particular, who would be very happy to have very dumb customers who don't ever learn anything and rely on them to just lead them, like a lemming off of a cliff.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. And companies can be successful with that kind of approach, but like we're all trying to exercise our expertise in sports and sports betting. So that should be a big part of it too.
Now all the guys coming here. We got Ben, we got Jake Hari. Jake, isn't Jake on vacation? Is Jake ditching vacation just to hang out on this stream? Is that actually what happened? Oh man, the love I feel.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, he's even got his vacation Jake Hari shirt on. I love this.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
this
dude.
Is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just up a little bit north. I mean, I'm already north in, Minneapolis area, but just like 3-hour drive. But yeah, I had to drop on and say hi to Spags, and hopefully not goodbye for too long. But yeah, dude, we're gonna miss you, man.
Oh, thank you. And I obviously, and I think I need to now say the part where I really extol all of the ways I'm going to miss you guys. And Jake knows and Josh knows. They were two of the first people I told that, because we've been on since, almost day one here alongside Alex and Tom and Eddie and all the guys. And, I really could not be. And this is going to be the part where, Ben, what's the betting line here on me crying? Because I had it at minus 150 today. But if you're the sharpest one here for that, so you tell me.
I don't know. No, I mean, I wasn't paying attention. I heard Brendan Todd, so I just randomly joined the call. So. But yeah, we will miss you. We won't be goodbye. You'll still have to hop in here and there where you have some free time, Spags.
I will be watching all your guys' shows too, because the nice part about this job is I can do betting content and then actually watch the live before lock shows and not completely kill my own lineups doing it. But I think, but for me, like, honestly, this experience, and it's something I've been able to reflect on a lot over the last weeks, is like, this has really been one of the best experiences in my career. And that includes, people know I worked at Barstool. That was definitely a unique experience too. Even the way I left, I still have more positive feelings than not there. I had my own site called Guyism, which, at this point only exists as the place that Katie Nolan got her start. But, I've had places that I worked that were good, that were kind to me when I worked in PR too. But this is really the most, and you guys being here right now, like, this is the most like a family of anywhere I've ever worked. Even when I said this on my personal podcast this week, but even when we butted heads with people, our CEO Tom is a great businessman and very sharp, and as been a person who has rightfully so, like called me out on some shit in the past. And I think, even when those happens, it's always been a family vibe. It's always been like, beefing with a brother or a parent or whatever. And ultimately it comes down to the fact that we've all been working so hard to make a cool product for the people out there and to do Alex's vision and Tom's vision and Eddie's vision of making a democratized DFS product that makes people smarter instead of dumber and makes them feel like they know what they're doing. And I really couldn't be more appreciative of these guys here who are on this right now, and also all of you guys watching, because it's been the best experience of my life and made me so much better. And for whatever I do in my career with Vegas Insider or elsewhere, like I got to talk to ESPN about a potential job. Like I got to talk and that's not something I would have had the access to leaving Barstool. And it was because of just being here, putting in those hours and all that. And, I really am appreciative of Alex in particular and Tom and Eddie, because you guys have made me so much smarter just by being around and telling us and giving us little cheat sheets in the beginning of what to talk about and what not to talk about. Like, I'm really sad because it's so rare you find a job that you both add value and it makes you a better person and a better, content provider and all that stuff. And that's been the one thing with Awesemo that, it's like, I'm fighting. I'm not, you see no tears here. That's real mad, but yeah, it's all good feelings. And I think that's nice for me because it hasn't always been good feelings when I left other places.
Yes,
whoa, big day today. Big day
it's Tom's UK debut.
What is going on here? Jeez.
They already thought he was here. They thought he was Jordan.
Invite here, but I heard my name, so I had to jump on here. But Chris, I just wanted to thank you personally, man. Like, I still remember. Oh, we got Jake on here as well. Welcome, Jake D, our graphic designer from behind the scenes.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah, I was actually looking through my old emails and found an email that I got from you, Chris, March 10th, 2018. And I mean, it just brought back the emotions of how excited me and Alex were to see that, look, this guy from Barstool, founder of a successful site, is actually interested in working with us, right? Like, so there was to think about how far we've come, and and in large part due to you and the professionalism and the polish that you brought to our organization has just been incredible looking back. And like, we couldn't be more thankful. We'll be always grateful to you, Chris. And you're always going to be a member of the Awesemo family for as long as Alex and I are here, at least.
So you guys sell out, and then you could even make that big content provider money in addition to your DFS.
Exactly,
money.
and then we're coming to join you at Vegas Insider.
Well, I hate to rain on this happiness, but as Chris Spags' co-host on the contrary, I feel like I got to give a contrarian opinion. I'm
You're
just
not
joking,
happy
man.
for him?
Yeah.
Contrarian opinion, go fuck yourself. You're terrible.
No, man, we're gonna miss you, and it really it's been a wild 2 years, and you were a big part right from the get-go. We really appreciate all the work you've done, and excited to see what you're up to next. It kind of feels like the last day of school a little bit here. It's a little sad because like we're all stuck at this dead-end job here while you're moving on to bigger and better things.
Definitely a little bit of a bachelor party feel, a little bit. I mean, maybe a sexy dancer popping on screen momentarily. Is that?
Do you hear knocking right now?
How do you think I got on this call?
That's true. Yeah, Jake's got, look at that beard. That is a prime playoff beard for our boy Jake, our graphic designer, by the way, who deserves a plug for himself. Jake, John, Christie, two guys behind the scenes doing so much to make this site look good and our YouTube content look good. And I think that's something too that I'm so appreciative of guys like Jake. And I talked to John at some length this week too. And like, yeah, there's so many people who go into making this product that you guys see every day, and you assume it's just, Josh producing a show or Jordan producing a show or whatever. And this is such a gigantic company now compared to when we started, where it was just Josh and me talking about Tim Quarterman and Jake and us doing those shows. And how many people do we have working for you guys now, Tom and Alex? Like, are we at 40, 50? Like, where are we?
Man,
Rookie mistakes.
Yeah, we're working hard, making the thing look good. You guys are doing a great job too, and I appreciate all the work, man. Yes, you really brought it together. In fact, you submitted the most thorough design requests of anyone in the company, and for that, I applaud you.
That's what it's all about. It's about trying to make it as easy on your coworkers as you can, and guys like Jake. And honestly, there's so many talented people here that you just sometimes don't even appreciate it enough in the moment. But we put out, like, you guys have put out 2 websites, an app, like in the past year. Like it's it's just crazy. And we got Ryan, we got Adam, we got everybody here. I love you guys. I'm so glad. I gotta get alcohol though, so somebody fill the air.
There are 3 separate people labeled as Tom Kennedy in this call right now. So if Tom was trying to slip through the cracks, no one's gonna have any idea which one's which at this point.
Take MME to an extreme, Tom. Like even in the Zoom calls.
It's 450 entries right there.
Yeah,
right?
I know, right?
That's how you do it. Do multiple Tom Kennedys.
That's right.
All right, I got some claws. I got to do the Spags appropriate drink.
I want to know what your first impression was going on air, Chris, with Jake and with Josh, since you guys were the first combination.
So this is something I don't know if people really know as much, because we haven't talked about it too much on the shows, but I had watched Josh before working at Awesemo before. And actually that was one of the first things that I think I talked about with Tom, was that he was like, oh, this guy Josh like has reached out to us and he's like, what do you think of him? And I was like, he's really great. I've actually watched his shows on my own, and he's a very talented guy who I think figured out. Josh was on Reddit and then making his own YouTube content and doing it on his own. And that was actually something I saw and was like, God, that'd be cool to do that. But like this Josh guy is so sharp and like everybody else is so sharp. So I couldn't do that on my own. And then I got to work with him and learned he's a complete fucking idiot. That's the main thing. Now I got to work with him, and it's like, and Josh is really one of my better friends. And I would say somebody who I will always value moving forward, and everybody I want to keep in touch with. But I think Josh and I have spent a lot of quality time together, and Jake too, this handsome beefcake making me look ugly, which is impossible. And I think that's the things that jumped out. But just immediately going in and these guys being so sharp, and obviously, Tom and Alex and Eddie, you'd expect coming in being sharp because they were top 10, top 20 players at that time. But for the host to come in and immediately have to make me raise my game, so I wasn't talking bullshit and I wasn't spewing things that were nonsense, because Josh and Jake might not sell it in a way, or not act like I'm an idiot for saying something wrong. But I think you want to earn those people's respect, and I think for me that was something that I was helpful, was just being immediately with guys who were sharp, even if we weren't as good as we are now on camera. Hopefully, just being around people who are intelligent is always going to hopefully make you more intelligent if you listen.
It feels like lifetimes ago, early 2018. Even the entire industry was different 2.5 years ago. That's the real crazy part about it.
Well, think about this. We're right at the 2-year mark of when FanVice came over under the Awesemo umbrella.
Yeah, that was.
Are we allowed to say that on the show? Does that work? Do we have any rights to speaking those words?
Fireball.
Who's got Fireball?
Laffy, probably.
Laffy just dropped in. What's going on, man?
What's up, boys? It's a lot of people.
Shade shots.
I haven't seen any mustaches being shaven on our shows, so that's a plus.
Been a couple months.
Been a few months. I meant entirely different. Adam knows what I'm talking about. So, what's up, man? I'm going to miss you, brother.
I'm going to miss you too. Laffy, one thing that people may not know is that Laffy and my Wednesday morning shows for NFL, one of the most joyous ways that I could wake up at 6 a.m. and do content ever. And it was all because Laffy's that dude, just brings that silky radio voice. And same thing I was talking about, man. I'm not going to just use this hour to promote Awesemo, because it is what it is. We can talk in bullshit. But Laffy's a guy who I would look at and to Tom and some of the other guys said, might treat me as I'm a good host and a professionalism and bring a certain degree of professionalism and all that. And I would look at Laffy and be like, fuck, I need to be as good as Laffy. And I think that's sort of what we have here is
that's not true. It's all about the YSRPs though, man. Now you're the best host I know. I'm serious. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. You're a guy. I felt the same way, man. I always tried to be better when I was on shows with you, and it was cool because we could feed off of each other as well,
Yeah, and that's the thing which I think is awesome about this company, and part of not to I hate, that's one thing I will be reluctant to do moving forward, and I have been for the last few years. I hate saying the word awesome because then I get confused with Awesemo and it feels like an asshole thing to say.
Can anybody here type the word awesome any longer?
No, not anymore.
I can type Awesemo really well though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing that makes me feel good about stuff moving forward is that, we have so many guys here, El Negro Loco coming in now too, and a guy who's been a part of the community and now is sort of rising up the ranks, T McBee, these guys, as well as the Greg Ehrenbergs, the Jeff Ulriches, the people that Nolan and Tom have done a really good job behind the scenes bringing people on. If I left 2 years ago, it might have been really hard to fill those hours. But now if I leave, we have people coming in. I watch the shows with Greg. I watch Jason Floyd, and he's another host too, who does hopefully like Lofty and I have done, brought that sort of veneer and polish that people want out of hosting or whatever you're looking for out of it. And it's crazy to see how far the company's come, where I could turn on YouTube. I have a smart TV now, and I just end up watching Awesemo content for hours because it all looks good and all the guys are smart. And I think that's hard to find, and across the industry, and definitely on YouTube in general, where it's just chock full of idiots.
Kind of is. It kind of is.
I want to welcome in the news god, making his first on-camera appearance here. Ron.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, man, but
we got you loud and clear, buddy.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Hey, Spags, I'm going to miss you, buddy.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, Ron was fucking hard on me in the beginning too. We talked about it.
You were a jerk in the beginning. I didn't like it. But you grew on me, man.
But no, but you were like, I think justifiably were like looking for me to show my work and explain shit rather than just like burn through it. And I think being able to have people who are smart enough to know and see through your bullshit in DFS, and hopefully you guys as viewers watching this right now, you probably are watching this because you spend a lot of time with us. Like, it's important to see through the bullshit out there. Like, I know Lofty and Josh were talking about it yesterday with the NBA, where if anybody's telling you, like, I heard you guys talk about the Mavs line, if anybody's telling you like they know what they're talking about, you guys were straight up like, they don't know and we don't know. There's just a candor here that I feel like doesn't exist elsewhere. And like, it's something that comes from the top down. It's a no bullshit enterprise. And despite, whatever love you're seeing right now. And that's what El Negro Loco gave to me, was just making me feel like shit. I had to be better. And I tried.
In the beginning, I don't think I really gave your stuff a try. It's like those songs that you listen to in the beginning and you don't really like it. But as, time goes on, you're like, what? This isn't actually bad. This is pretty good stuff. And that's exactly what it was with your content, man. Like, you put out some fire, what I'm saying? Especially more towards the end of your stay here at Awesemo. And like I said, man, it's really going to be hard to replace you, man. It's big shoes to fill.
Thank you. And honestly, all you guys here, I appreciate you guys showing up, both the viewers and the guys in the company, because I know it's hard for any of us, I'm sure, to drink in the middle of the day when we all work remotely, but I do appreciate it very much. And you guys make me feel the love. And I honestly, Tom almost got me crying though. Fucking Tom, man. Only you.
That would be the first time, right there,
on the end.
Tom's got a soft spot for everyone. He just doesn't show it ever.
No. Chris and I have been through a lot together. We've bump heads a lot, but I think for the better of the company. Like, our creative disagreements, I think, have been key to shaping kind of the way that we've gone. And I can't tell you, it would have been easy for you just to roll over, Chris, and say no. And you held your position. You held firm oftentimes when I was wrong. And, I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong, and that I'm glad that I followed your advice in a lot of circumstances. So thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Tom and I also had a great call. Like, anybody who works here knows, like, Tom is a no nonsense guy, even though, he's being the nicest guy in the world today, but like a guy who really cares about the company first and foremost. And I was scared to be like, hey, Tom, like, I can't do this anymore. And, because this opportunity came along, and Tom was the most gracious, and we had like the best call, and it gave me such a peace of mind, and really was like sort of the closure I needed for myself to get there. And, you guys don't see Tom enough on here because he's so busy doing everything and grinding himself to the bone, really, even with being a family man, having kids, having a wife, all that stuff. And like, I think it's something for me that it really meant a lot to me, Tom, to have that conversation we did. And it means a lot for me to have your first public appearance on camera here is awesome. So
we're thank you, proud of you, Chris. Well, this is where, you're going to be, you're leading content over there at Vegas Insider, I think, right? Like the media content side, like that is huge, man. For us as a company, like that's a moment of pride for us to say, like, this guy came up through our system and now he's the head at Vegas Insider, right? Like, that's a site far bigger than we are or probably ever will be. And so, thank you, Chris. You brought pride to our company as well. So.
Thank you. And I got to give a shout out. My pal Eddie.
Rick Rude is on Raw and Nitro at the same time right now. This is happening.
Spags, I tried to get Tom on when we were doing the daily sports show during the quarantine to talk about like a assault and battery charge from an NFL player. And he's like, I'm not a criminal. I'm not doing that. I'm not a criminal attorney. That's crazy. So, this is the first time I've seen him on camera too. It's pretty impressive.
I appreciate it very much, and then we gotta say we got Fast Eddie here in the video, and I'm happy to see you. I'm glad I turned the floor over to you as I've had to do many times on these streams, Eddie. But I'm happy to see your face, and thank you for stopping in too.
I will happily do you the favor of not talking over you for an hour straight, as has been my want to do many times in the past. I just wanted to say thanks for a couple of the guys there being nice enough to extend me the link so I could stop by and say, safe travels, my friend. It was an excellent time working with you. You're one of the real ones. Real fan of yours, and I'm looking forward to everything that's coming next for you.
Thank you, Eddie. And I always enjoy you wherever you are. And Eddie and I did a show on Twitch during quarantine, which wasn't maybe the smartest move by me to do without giving a heads up, because that's the type of idiot I am sometimes too. Well, I'm saying that word too many times on this show, but Eddie's a man who I've learned so much from too. And, it's been hard for me on some of the streams to not be like, I remember talking about this with Eddie last year, and I try to keep it vague because this industry can be tough with the competition and some of the stuff that goes on. But to me, when you have people in your lives and you spend so many hours with people who have been good to you and helped you get better at the things you do, like I'm forever indebted to Eddie. I'm forever indebted to Josh. Everybody on this call right now. I hope you guys really do keep an eye on their content, whatever they're doing, because this is honestly, in terms of pure earnings, besides myself, this is the highest earning DFS call you'll ever find, but also just a bunch of people who are really smart and clever and just ahead of the curve in a way that you really won't find in an industry that a lot of people just tail other people who do better work. Oh man. Are we drinking? Who's drinking what? Can we?
I've been drinking for like an hour and a half now.
You're the realest one. That's why you're my ride or die. You're my bottom bitch.
I'll be getting started soon.
Yeah, well said there, Chris. I'm gonna have to duck off here at day job calls, but I do want to shout out Moses Rogers, one of our other guys who has not made his camera debut, is on today as well. So good luck, Spags, in the future. We will definitely touch base, and we will all miss you a lot.
Oh, thank you, Emac. I'm still mad at you for beating me in dong picks, though. So I hope your job is extra hard on you today and makes your life difficult.
Did you see Hunter Renfro with 2 last night?
I did, you son of a bitch. I sure did. I love Emac, my pal. My Emac, the only guy who can make Saturday mornings tolerable for me when I'm in whatever, especially when the society was still going on and I was single, in various states of disarray, having to have Emac there. Really a stabilizing process. So your old pal is my old pal as well. And
Eddie Lai about to show up on this stream? Are we really getting the full peek behind the Awesemo curtain?
Double Eddies, 2x to Eddies.
Eddieception.
Hold on. I just plugged in my camera. Give me a second.
This is about what a world. This is what it took. This is what it took.
I worked there 2 years. I don't think I've ever seen this person.
Yo, check out the background.
Wow.
Hey, where's John Christie at?
1-800-EDDIE in the house.
Yeah,
What's
I can't
up,
tell you,
guys?
but Eddie Lai, how much credit I got for your DFS wins over the years.
That's right.
I'd be like, dude, I saw you won another 100K last night. I'm like, that's the other Eddie with the Awesemo, not me whatsoever. But he's very, very good.
Yeah, for all the folks who don't know, Eddie's our CTO, has been doing all the tech stuff behind the scenes for years now. And in addition to being a top player, so running all the stuff. And I guess, Eddie, now I have you on here. Tell me, what are all the secrets to DFS that you've been hiding behind the scenes for so long?
They're always going to be secrets. They'll always remain secrets.
Also, quick shout out to FK Coolers in the YouTube chat. Throw us a super chat asking, was Randone invited or could you not, because he has you all blocked now? I think I'm good with Randone. I've been, even on Eddie's, when I did Eddie's Twitch stream, we talked about him briefly because Fast Eddie had a little bit of a beef with Chris Randone, I guess, as happens sometimes in social media and whatever. And I was like, I love Randone because I think he's, maybe, I'm trying to think of the way to say it. He does a shtick or he does like a thing and a passion and really goes after it and promotes it and talks about it all the time and like does all the stuff that you need to do as a content person. So I like Chris right now. I mean, another handsome fella too.
KTOV price down 50%, not invited to the Zoom call. There's just a single tear trickling down his eye right now.
Go K-Top. I want K-Top to thrive for that, man.
Ugh.
And also,
raise your hand if you're banned.
Mentioned Moses, and I got to give a shout out to Moses and Joey, two of the guys. You might have seen the side action that we launched here at Awesemo, which was really something we had to figure out as we went because thanks to our tech team, thanks to Jake and John Christie, the guys designing that as well, was something we had to figure out on the fly. Basically, that Tom was like, "Hey, do this so you guys fill some time here and can stay employed." And that was something that we did during the quarantine period. And Joey will be taking that over on a day-to-day basis with Moses being a key contributor there. And and I think really for me, was something, getting Moses on board, getting our girl Leslie, my chick, who's also doing some content over there and hopefully going to start doing some of these shows. That's something that I think is going to be the next stage of Awesemo, that, Tom and Alex and Eddie are backing up with their money too, with a diversity scholarship, but it's getting people in the door who are different and aren't just me in a backwards hat being a white guy with a beard, which is everybody in the industry, I think is a big part of the next stage of things. So hopefully you see more of Moses, hopefully you see more of Joey, hopefully you see more of Leslie in the future, because so this is my coaching tree. I'm taking credit for whatever you guys do.
So Spags, now you got me in a backwards hat with a beard.
Yeah. You were born for that life with your
right.
Back look.
What a change at the guard. Right.
Lofty's trying to be unique. He pushed his hat forward today.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, I didn't wear a hat at all because I had something to do on Sunday and didn't shower on Monday. So I just hopped onto the show with my hair all still done. It was fine, actually. Very rare.
I showered today for the first time since Monday, so that's fun.
Backwards hat is the Awesemo brand. It really is. Yeah. Greg Ehrenberg needs to jump on that train real quick.
That's true. He's really the one we need to put in some lockers, give some wedgies, haze him a little bit more. But Greg's great though.
We never see a backwards hat on Ben. He's slipping through the cracks.
We never see a hat on Ben.
It's true.
I need a haircut though. I might have to go hat. I'm gonna have to suck it up and get a haircut.
Do you own a hat?
Yeah, I got hats.
Okay.
You don't even know. I
bet they're like really like the Dr. Seuss hat or like other really weird, like a sombrero. It's not gonna be
pinwheel
like
on top
shit.
of it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be normal shit.
No, it's not.
We should do more of these. Spags, you should leave more often.
Yeah, look, that's many people have said that on the YouTube channel over the years.
Yeah, they were banned immediately.
I don't know by who. It's crazy to
Awesemo_com, it seems.
Yeah, that handle always protects us. That's a lot of sites out there. That's actually the thing that like the Ringers Union bitched about, was that they felt they don't protect their writers or whatever, or their talent. And that's always a weird line to walk because everybody's so mean on the internet besides the people you work with.
Shout out to Zoom for holding down this 16-person call in a live stream.
Yeah, our little family reunion here we got going here. It's nice.
Spags,
going a lot better than most business calls.
Yeah. Is this the biggest show? Yeah,
you've ever hosted?
Well, at Barstool at one point we did a Valentine's Day special where I just used everybody, and we were just like, we basically had a party in the office where I think we had 15 people coming in at various points. So that might still be tough, but we have 16 here. So actually, I think we now have set a record. So there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, we win the GPP me hosting shit tournament there.
I was trying to procure a Rihanna shirt for your go away. Couldn't find one.
She doesn't even make music anymore. She just sells makeup to women who are just like, yeah, I'll buy something of her.
Yeah, ever since you came along, she can't find the passion any longer. You're her anti-muse.
Yeah, I actually something funny to go back to that I've never talked about, but this is one of my, like when I was doing consulting jobs and then got the Awesemo job, I was like, just how do I keep this going? Like I thought I could keep consulting, but I felt like I had to do something with myself. And my idea was to make a documentary called Finding Rihanna, and it's like me having to search for her to apologize or make amends or something, because I thought that would be some way to get heat on myself. So that's still in the back burner in case if I lose this Vegas Insider job, then you'll find me stalking Rihanna and trying to apologize. Oh, there you go. People want Joey. People want a sweat show since Awesemo started. The Maharishi saying in the YouTube chat. So keep that in mind, Joey Corbin.
Sweat show, we can do it. I'm ready for it. I'm already sweating over Norman Powell in my lineup. So.
How is DFS going right now? I'm actually curious.
Terence Davis,
baby.
Day. Yeah.
So we were right. Oh, okay, good. Go out with one good call.
Chris Boucher's in at 72% ownership. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
I don't know what else is happening here.
I think I got some news guy duties I need to get back to. Sit back to sign off. I will catch you guys later.
Good seeing you, my man.
The news god himself.
Wait, so can we point out, by the way, Josh, what we talked about with Terence Davis? He gets 23 points in the first quarter, 23 fantasy points. Yeah. He's getting to 38.
All over it, man. What do you want?
This might be the highlight of my career, actually. We talked about this before it locked. Okay.
And on top, Elway style.
Yeah.
I'm
sure Malcolm Miller or O'Shea Brissett will go crazy now because today is random.
And we pointed to it.
If Brissett plays a lot more.
He's out?
Yeah.
They actually have him listed in the NBA.com box score right now.
Oh, usually they don't.
Yeah, I didn't think that he was available either, but
Dennis Schroeder is available to play. There's your breaking news, by the way. Yes, that one.
Wait, he's available to play? Is that? Oh,
yeah.
Yes, he just got listed available to play. Apparently, he showed up and was like, "Hey guys, what's up? Anyone hooping?"
Mm-hmm. I've always said the days that Dennis Schroeder goes off is the days you never expect him to go off. So
I didn't expect him to be in the building. So yeah,
I didn't even know he was in Orlando.
I didn't
even know he was in the country. He lives in Germany.
We got to 500 likes too.
Had a big narrative.
You're welcome.
Hey, dude, I have to say, Josh, whatever you've learned with your shaming, or I guess shaming can go poorly too, but shaming people in the likes is really one of your biggest strengths you developed over the last couple months.
Yeah, it's almost like digital bullying is okay when you're only asking someone to click a thumbs up.
All right, so what now, guys? Who's taking all my shifts? Who's doing the 7 days a week during football season? Who we got in the pipeline?
I don't think anybody wants me to cover football 7 days a week.
They love your what was it, 100 yards and a touchdown pick?
Yeah, because I was 0 for 11 to start the season. Picking legitimate NFL players too, I might add.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't like, we're trying to find this sleeper third wide. No. This was like DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones.
So you could pick anyone you wanted and still couldn't manage to get a single one?
Yeah, yes. Not a single one.
Yeah.
And then by the time he did start nailing them, everyone was doing the opposite of what he said. So it was a lose-lose for the final few weeks because I think you hit the final couple weeks, but at that point, everyone's like, all right, he's high on Calvin Ridley, time to go Julio.
Yeah. The moment I named someone, the entire chat would just burn down, being like, you ruined everything. Not good.
Wasn't Ridley the one who broke it, but he got there by getting 15 rushing yards?
Yes, he had 85, I believe it was 85 receiving yards, 15 rushing yards on the dot on one carry. Hit 100 on the nose. Man, if they just changed that to 14, it would have been brutal.
You know, like it does suck working on a Sunday, but those NFL shows, like especially last year where we had Ben, Alex, and Laffy doing the show before us, like I enjoyed that from a content perspective, even though it probably made my lineups a little worse. But like I feel like that was one of the more fun things because Josh also just hates playing NFL sometimes. Don't remember this if he does a lot of NFL.
Oh no, I'm totally in now because of doing the Daily Show with Laffy and Ben. We dove so much into NFL, and then I started reading everything that PFF put out that I have now become like an NFL fan again, but only for like draft value and trying to find a good quarterback. Otherwise, I don't care.
Air yards, Josh. Remember air yards. Always remember air yards.
I will definitely never look at air yards once this season. Unless we bring him on to Awesemo's payroll, at which point I would tell you that it's the best that we know.
Josh Hermsmeyer is the only guy who didn't follow me out of our On the Contrary guests last year, which you have no idea. That's how fucking tilting that is when I've talked about airyards.com.
Did you unfollow him after he didn't get that follow back?
No, because I'm not that guy. I don't usually.
I would have.
I'll unfollow people if they unfollow me, and we were both following because it's like, what? I don't like. You're not better than me. Like, if I notice that,
he follows me.
Oh, does he? Fuck
no.
I would have been so mad. He's a Josh though. He's Josh Hermsmeyer, so maybe there was like a Josh connection there.
There is. It's like when Jeep people wave to each other.
Screw this guy. We're not going to talk about air yards ever again.
I'm going to come into the goddamn chats and be like, Alex, can you talk about the air yards, please?
Alex, you need to make up an NFL stat. Oh, this is fun. I don't want this to stop, but mostly because it's really difficult to go to the bar and actually do this.
Yeah.
Alex, we could do the shenanigans tool. We can get on that one.
Yeah, that's still top secret, Joey.
Did I just reveal something?
Somebody needs to mute Joey quickly before he's giving away our secrets.
We're coming up with our new narrative-based plays.
Oh, okay. That's smart. That's smart. God, we could sell the hell out of that, though. That's the worst part.
Check out the fantasy football package at Awesemo.com.
Are there any birthdays today?
Like in this room?
Somewhere.
I I didn't check before the.
We're getting pretty close to the number where you would expect it. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, the math on that is always very interesting. It's somewhere around this, right? It's like 1920 or so. It's a much lower number. The average people in the room till it's someone's birthday.
Yeah,
it's much less than you'd think.
Yeah, I've never understood. Like, I'm sure you're the same way. On the surface, you're like, that's preposterous, and then you start looking at like the math behind it, and you're like, oh, well, holy shit, it really is like 19 or 20.
Right. The first person has a 1 in 365 of being their birthday, and then just the odds hack down enough every time.
Yeah. It's a good bar. It's a good bar bet.
Magic Johnson, happy birthday. Chucky Atkins, happy birthday. And the Clippers give Mfiondu Kabengele any run. Happy birthday.
Magic Johnson used all his wishes like 30 years ago.
I wonder what Chucky Atkins is up to right now. What's he doing?
Chucky, I had an Instagram post on him recently. I'll have to pull it up.
Joey loves thinking about these esoteric guys who played who played pretty well for like a season or two, though. That's the thing about DFS that kind of screws with me now thinking back. Is like, I loved so many guys like Chucky Atkins growing up, and I don't want to know if they were terrible like I would know like some of the people who exist now. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm reluctant to ruin my childhood by digging too deeply into that.
What is Chucky Atkins' real name?
His real name is not Chucky.
No. Spags, what's his real name?
So it's not Charles either?
No.
Not Charles.
What could be Chuck? Timothy?
Nope.
No, I don't know.
It would be Kenneth.
Kenneth Atkins? Oh, well. Ken Atkins sounds more like a 70s player or an 80s player who left the league after doing too much blow. Like that's how Ken Atkins sounds.
He actually postponed getting his driver's license when he was 16 to play basketball all summer. So big shout out to him. Yeah.
Here's a fun question from Willie K. Who can bench press the most in this group?
Not me.
Certainly not me.
It's got to be Jake. I'm looking at Jake's fucking shoulders right now.
Yeah, Jake lifts his arm, 30-inch pythons. It's just like, okay, we got it.
It's Jake or Ben for sure.
I don't know. Joey is sneaky strong. He works out.
Yeah, Joey does look like a backup fullback or a backup linebacker.
Moses looks pretty husky too.
I can get a little more than 200 up. I doubt that's on top, but I think I'd be up there.
Moses, what do you bench?
Oh yeah, Moses was an athlete too.
What do you bench, Moses? I bet he could.
Put up 315.
Wait.
Apparently, Stephen Hawking thinks he can bench.
I can't hear you, man.
Poor Moses. Moses' connection is an issue.
315 though.
I realize now that he's frozen. I just thought he was really still for a minute.
Listening intently.
It's like speed.
I've had too much. I gotta watch myself. I'm still employed tomorrow.
What are you drinking?
Cavassier, like a boss.
Yeah.
You look hammered right now.
I've had a bit of it at this point.
He's also like a tiny boy. I was saying to Josh the other day he was producing one of our shows. He's looking legitimately slender. Like, Josh, look at those, show off those arms a little, show off those chicken wings.
Look at, I mean, there's no muscle. See, the problem is it's the fat's going away. There's just no muscle left over. It looks like a teenage girl. The skin lays directly onto the bone here.
You're looking pretty trim, I gotta say.
I'm trying. I didn't run today. I was tired.
I think Adam dropped a savage burn there we didn't hear. Adam, what was that?
I said he looks like a teenage girl with a beard.
I was about to say.
Josh could wear some like dope skinny jeans right now, though. Like he could go all the way with it if he wanted.
Yeah, you could go shopping with Randone and like hand things back and forth.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass.
I don't know if you're going to be able to do this challenge now that you've lost all the weight.
Dude, I'll put away 4 pounds of steak right now if someone brings it into the office.
Well, yeah, you're drunk, but you have to be sober. So yes, Spags.
Wait, what kind of sober? Can I be the other kind of not sober?
That's fair. That's fair. You need a little. Yeah, you need a little.
Yeah, a little performance enhancer there.
He thinks he can do 4 pounds during a 1 hour strategy show.
No chance.
Why are you saying no chance? You watch me eat 3.5 pounds of pizza bites on a stream.
It's not the same as sodium carbs.
4 pounds of what? 4 pounds of what?
Steak.
The hell
bone.
No way.
Bone or nothing. It's got to be 4 pounds.
No way.
I've heard all of this before, and I blew your.
Jake, there's no way, right?
How many ounces is that? 64?
It's like 60 some.
Yeah,
64, right?
Yeah,
64 ounces.
Yeah, okay. Not a chance. No way. The pizza bites are different. Yeah.
Why? It's 3.5 pounds of pizza bites. Wait.
All right. I would love to see you try. I'm here for you trying for sure.
Happy to prove y'all wrong again.
Spags, maybe
wait. We were in on you finishing it. I think me and Spags both thought you were going to do it when you did the pizza bites, though.
No one thought I was going to do it until I explained to you guys how confident I was in doing it.
Yeah, the markets
and how I would just get baked on a Saturday and eat like
details.
70 of them anyway.
Wait, Josh, you ate 3.5 pounds of pizza bites?
On a live stream.
Oh wow,
Joey, this was last summer. You were around, Joey.
I wasn't here. No.
No?
Yeah.
I did it on a live before luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be me and Josh, but then we were like, well, maybe we should probably have Spags on, so it's not a 2-man booth, and then one of the guys is eating 100 pizza bites. So yeah, he did it like Josh. You did him in like 18 minutes. I want to say like 22 minutes, something like that.
I had 80 or so done in like the first 6 or 7 minutes, and then kind of took my time. I think we agreed that it was going to be 15 minutes. And then I had so much time left that I knew that I could do it that I kind of drew it out a little bit because it started to get that like pizza paste that's inside of it becomes really not appetizing after 80 plus of them, unfortunately. Yeah, the steak, no brainer.
So is competitive eating something that like you're trying to do?
No, dude,
not at all.
64 ounces of steak, that is so dense. Like,
I bet everything that you can't do that in.
It'll just fill your gullet in a way, like because steak doesn't constrict the same way that a pizza bite would.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
put your money where your mouth is, guys. Put your money where your mouth is.
I would bet against you. I wouldn't bet against a lot of things for like you eating stuff, Josh. After seeing the pizza bites, especially, but. Yeah, 64 ounces of steak. I would have to.
How many ounces of steak is in a typical cow?
Like the whole cow?
Yeah, how many ounces of steak is in a cow?
I'm not sure they break it down that way.
Yeah, like including like the bones and skin and shit.
I'm not a butcher. I don't know how that.
Like just what you're taking steak wise away. I mean, because you're only taking certain regions, not the whole cow. So I don't know.
Right.
Good question.
So how much meat of steak you get from a cow? Typically, I mean, I know no one's a butcher or like a farmer here, but maybe they are.
I mean, I'm guessing like 1,000 pounds, probably.
Yeah, more than 64.
I would think. Yeah, I would think so.
The cow doesn't weigh 1,000 pounds more often than not, and then also like hooves. And
that doesn't make sense.
Yep. Yeah. They're big, but they're not that big. Yeah, get it
back to my cocktail.
I think this is a good Google question or Siri or something.
Also, I got to give a quick shout out. Even though this is a casual hang, I'm an OCD idiot. Blaine Jungworth, our tennis guy, who's also done some of our live streams, doing the gaming stuff during quarantine, gave us a $10 super chat saying 100% of this should go to 1-800-EDDIE for carrying my butt in Valorant. Good luck, Spags. So Eddie Lai is an amazing gamer, by the way. He had a Smurf League of Legends account, and he carried us so hard in that one stream we did. It was fun.
Every once in a while, I see Eddie's playing something on Steam, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is, but he's probably incredible at it.
Yeah, Spags. I mean, we gotta ask, like, are you quitting our esports team?
Oh no! I mean, I've always been more of an Overwatch guy, and honestly, I feel like I choked when we played on the stream that time, where Master Yi was getting his ass kicked in that game by whoever was going up against him. But I did play League of Legends because we had the esports projections, and I was like, this is so much fun. And there was actually a period where my girlfriend had to watch me watch LCS games for entire Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and it was a lot more fun than I'd give credit for. So yes, that is one thing I'll tell them I need a carve out for our esports team that will lose in every game unless Eddie carries.
It's amazing you still have a girlfriend. That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, this is one of the weirdest things for me. Not so like I could talk about Josh not being able to eat steak all day, but like for me, this is the weirdest fucking year because like all my life is changing, and 2020 is this year where you could just be stagnant and be completely happy. And like I've moved in with a girlfriend. I'm in a new apartment. I got the job situation's changing. Like it's really weird for me because I'm a person who likes the schedule and the rigor of things. But I have friends too who've gotten engaged and gotten girlfriends in 2020. Like I don't even know how you'd meet somebody in 2020, but people are making it work.
I don't know either. No clue.
Truck stop usually for me.
So glory hole always. So what's the way that we can close this out? Do we do a drink? I want to talk about Adam really fast because he's been quiet. And Adam is somebody who I've admired so much from not afar because we've talked and we've been colloquial and all that. But Adam and Lofty's Deeper Dive show, which unfortunately is one of the victims of the schedule. You guys are doing live before lock, so it's great. But that show is to me the benchmark of the industry where you guys have been so great. And Adam's just so fucking fantastic. And then he'll come in here and not say a thing and he's probably fucking playing some golf round 2 lineups or something. but he's just so he's so good and so pithy and so fucking sharp. And on Twitter, I just love Adam so much. And I'm glad we got to do some shows before I got to go because I think you're one of our gems here. And I don't know if everybody else knows it, but I need to say it here because you're just you're chilling and waiting to drink.
I appreciate it. And I was glad we got to do some shows towards the end. You were one of the guys that I hadn't really done shows with before, so it was nice that we started to get them.
Yeah,
and he's done.
It's amazing that he listened to anything that you said before that.
I heard my name.
It's great. Spags,
Brogdon's starting.
The best when you do shows with Adam. This is the thing where at first it wasn't intentional, but then he would just mess with me. I do this brilliant, long-winded intro. I'm like, "How you doing today, man?" He goes, "Good." That was it. Completely destroy the flow.
Raise your hand if you had Alize Johnson starting for the Pacers today. Brogdon, Sumner, Justin Holiday, Alize Johnson, Jakar Sampson. Yeah, fire the NBA regular season directly into the sun.
Is Goga playing or no?
He's available.
Yeah. Okay.
Spags, I'm going to go grab a drink, bring it up here to toast for when we
we got to close it. Everybody who's got their alcohol.
Go grab something real quick.
Whether you're on the Zoom call or if you're a person watching on YouTube, let's get yourself a drink in your hand if you can so we can close this out the way that I, as somebody who has drank my way through quarantine, need to close it out.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I need to find something.
I think Adam's got some stuff. I feel like he's got an IPA somewhere cooking nearby. It's funny.
Adam's an IPA guy. I don't think so.
Their drink just right in front of you.
No, he's got to be an IPA guy.
Now, to me, Adam's a volume guy, so that's got to be Miller Lite.
He's the king of beers. He's coming over with
king of beers.
Joey with the White Claw. That's why, Joey. I appreciate you. Lemon White Claw.
Do I need to go get one of those garbage drinks? Sorry, my wife only keeps them.
Yeah, they're great. You just gotta.
Dude, there's a reason your wife drinks them. They're awesome.
They're not awesome. I had one 2 weeks ago. It was an incredible letdown.
What were you expecting?
It to be good.
The point is, you could just drink.
If you're expecting them to not be terrible plus heartburn, you're in luck.
I never had any problem just drinking light beer if I needed to do this. Somebody explain to me what the difference is. Oh,
so if you have if you have 10 White Claws, you're saving probably 100 grams of carbs, something like
that. Okay, that's preposterous.
Oh man. Also, before we do the drink, Nolan's been on here and I have not given a shout out to Nolan. And this is what I'm doing here. Nolan and Ryan both. Ryan I've done shows with, so Ryan's good. He's a fucking genius. He's going to be a millionaire in DFS. You know that stuff. But Nolan, though, one of our guys too, who does a lot of shows, but I mean, I feel like I've always had the jack of all trades rep of just being able to move and do some different shit. But Nolan has been so important behind the scenes, more than you guys watching this will know. And also for my sanity over the last 6 months of trying to keep things running. So Nolan, I know we talked on Slack this morning, but I want to give you the kudos. And I could do this for everybody, but I want to make sure to give you your props because you have been a lifesaver for me over the last few months, especially, but in general, and help keep things together. Help make On the Contrary, I think, even better last year, even though we lost Silva to establish the run and what he was doing there. I appreciate you so much. And speaking of a guy who would like a drink, there's Nolan. I just want to make sure I give you the props that you deserve because you are fantastic at what you do and keeping the things together here. So thank you from bottom of my heart and hopefully on behalf of everybody else too. And now he's muted. So there.
In typical Nolan Kelly.
Nailing the text.
Classic.
Nailing the text.
Classic.
I'm surprised he didn't get here an hour late because of the time zones.
All right. So what's the toast? Who's doing the toast? Do I have to do it?
Got a couple of words for you, Spags, saying as
perfect.
Someone who's been a subscriber and just seen you improve along the way, and you just like an amazing host as someone like to balance the humor and the data and everything. That's a really unique skill set you have. I think you're just going to crush it at Vegas Insider. We're going to miss you, and you've provided me with great advice to become successful in different things as well. So I know you're going to do great things. We're going to miss you. It's going to be tough shoes to fill in, but we'll look forward to your success down the road. And that's all I had to say.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm glad. I got to do some shows with you too. Ryan's somebody to watch out for here in DFS because he's going to take all your money, but also as a host, just a guy who's really sharp, and hopefully, Eddie can attest to it too. A guy who's been, I think, ready to do something and to contribute more with his intelligence and all that. And I'm glad, man. I appreciate it very much. So yeah. And then Nolan's mic is fucked, so that's why Nolan couldn't talk. He just slacked me. But don't worry, Nolan. You're still okay. I was adding a little levity. All right, well,
we're at the end, man.
Yeah,
5 more minutes. It's sad.
I am sad.
No tears yet? No tears?
Yeah, I want to see you shed a tear.
Tom got me there. Tom got me real close, and I think somebody in the chat noted, or a couple people that noticed, like it was well enough. No drop though. No.
What
drop.
did Tom? What
you were
did Tom
edging?
possibly say to get you to almost shed a tear?
Josh got the same context I did. Tom got me there. He got me real close. Josh and I were like, yeah.
Tom just gave. I mean, Tom, whenever he says anything genuine and from the heart, I feel like it always packs that extra weight. Not that there are times that he doesn't, but like when it's something where like it cuts through just a straight, hey, it's business, we're doing this stuff. Like it hit me, and I said it before. I think before you came on, Lofty, like when I told that Tom that I was leaving, he handled it so well and made me feel good about it, and was like so kind in the way that he handled it. Where you never know, like you see how some of these relationships end in the past and other places, not here, but in general. And for me, it just made me feel like thank you for handling that, and even all the gratitude I would have had anyway. It certainly makes it tenfold for me. So and I said this up top, but like I appreciate Tom, Alex, Eddie, like for starting this. Thank you for that. Josh, Jake for being here from day one. Lofty, Adam, Eddie for being here, coming on EMAC as well as not on now. These guys came in, made this site better, pushed us all to be better. And I'm better for this experience and in a million ways as a human being, as a content provider, as somebody who hopefully won't make people lose thousands of dollars at Vegas Insider, though. Let's be real, probably going to do that too. But yeah, this has been the best experience of my life as a person employed by somebody else and making this work. And I wouldn't have changed it for anything. All the grinding, all that, it's gone somewhere. And I think it'll continue to go somewhere for this company. And Awesemo is a great place to be. And if you're watching this, you hopefully know that, because this company fucking rules and is great and is going to do amazing things without me now. And I'm glad to have been a part of building it to what it is. So thank you to all of you, but thank you to all my coworkers and all that, because it's
you're going to do great.
I'm not going to do it.
Cheers, Chris.
Best of luck, man. For real. Cheers.
We love you.
Thank you, guys.
Love you. Love it.
What do you mean?
Finally, my first sip.
Oh man. Well, now all we can do is root for Terence Davis to continue thriving in the sunlight, as we all will. But yeah, that's it for me. So
yeah.
Thank you out there for watching. Thank you for being a part of my journey here for the last 2 years. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button before you go, and go get an Awesemo Plus membership, because apparently that's my gold watch, is I get to keep using Alex and Tom and Eddie's data for the rest of my life. So and if you fucking take that away, guys, I swear I'll bitch so much on Twitter. But no,
we'll give you 1 month in a discount.
I'm so appreciative of it all, and thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you to you out there, and keep killing it. Have a great run, and listen to these guys, because they will take great care of you. But that's it.
Good luck, Spags.
Yeah, good luck, Spags.
Good man. Adios.
Good luck, Spags.
I just leave the room now. Just
Jordan, it's on you.
Peace.
Jordan.
And until they kick me out.
Fire.